All right, so you start.
Yeah. Oh
my god, you're so out of cue. Do 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 now low.
Remember last time it was like 30, like 10 seconds?
I feel so bad for John Williams. We're butchering his beautiful music. I told you what I think about that piece, right?
Yeah, you told me something really crazy.
Okay. Do you want me to tell you again? While it's on
no,
mic and
please,
people can hear it?
Please, no.
I think that it not only is one of the best pieces of music in Star Wars, I think it's one of John Williams' best pieces of music. And I'm so upset that it's in this film. Anyway, this is our... Well, you lead it off. I led off last time. You lead this one off. What are we talking about?
We're talking about another Star Wars film, which is like so much better than the other one that we saw, in my opinion.
Man, I'm already mad. Just don't make me mad, all right? I woke up late today. I got late here for the recording, and I did not want to rewatch this movie. I mean, the other day when we started it...
talk about...
What?
It's Attack of the Clones.
Yeah, I said to introduce it. You just didn't want to.
Yes.
So I was getting to it.
That's right.
They're going to know it's Attack of the Clones. It's in the title of the podcast. I mean,
no, it
it'd be pretty funny if they
I'm
did.
going to make sure it isn't.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Attack of the Clones, the second Star Wars film.
In chronologically.
No, ever made.
Ever made? Oh,
Ever
really?
made, yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
It's not very well known, but George Lucas went back to the 1970s to make the sequels because nobody in the 2000s would give him money after Revenge of the Sith. Yeah. How much money do you think he has been offered over the years to continue making them? Do you think Disney ever made an offer? I know they made the offer on the franchise, but I
think someone might have, because he's always been a billionaire, right? Ever since Star Wars.
Yeah, since Star Wars. I thought you meant...
Since Star Wars.
I thought you meant always.
He wasn't born a millionaire, I don't think so. But
he was the son of a grocer in Palo Alto, I believe.
Sure, but he... I think he must have gotten a lot of offers from 20th Century Fox.
He was born in Modesto, California, sorry. Yeah, a lot of offers.
Probably a lot of offers,
Yeah.
but he can say no. He could say no if he wanted.
Oh, of course. I mean, that's the thing that's so fascinating about these movies, and the thing that I really respect is that these are the most expensive independent films, some of the most expensive independent films ever made. They're all financed by one guy, and part of the way he was able to finance them was by selling off some of the toy rights to places like Hasbro. And yeah, these films are completely his vision. Every single shot of them, every sound is 100% his vision. And we've just watched Attack of the Clones again. What do you think of it?
You said, I'm not sure if we mentioned this last time, but you said how this Attack of the Clones has the best opening.
I completely take back what I said.
Right?
Oh my god, I can't believe if I did say that, I apologize to humanity for
I'll say this.
Saying that.
I enjoyed it more than Phantom Menace.
Yeah, you're mad.
But only because I know what's going on at all times. Well, yeah. Phantom Menace is like... It's a bit random, Phantom Menace. It's a tiny bit random.
It is a bit random.
Well, this one... You know what's going on at all times. What's going on is really boring. But at least you know what's going on.
It's really boring and it makes absolutely no sense. I mean, remember that thing we were saying when the Tatooine planet cuts away to Geonosis? Is that the bug planet?
Yeah.
And you can't tell. They look like exactly the same planet.
They're in the same...
They're completely indistinguishable from each other.
Yes.
I mean, let's talk about the movie. Oh, well, it's important to say... George Lucas wrote these films separately, and as I was telling you, according to IMDb trivia, which is not a reliable source of information, George Lucas was deeply hurt by the feedback he received from Phantom Menace. I mean, I can't imagine 30 years after making a film that is universally beloved by everyone and wins, I think, 6, 7 Oscars. He himself, I believe, gets nominated for director.
Yeah.
As well as for Best Picture.
Yeah.
I cannot imagine my first writing and directing credit in 30 years since making one of the most beloved films of all time being received with as much animosity as Phantom Menace. Like, that is truly devastating. And I'm very glad that he seems like he has had a very healthy relationship with that feedback.
It's devastating, but...
I feel really bad.
Wouldn't you say it's deserved, though?
I'd say towards the movies, but not towards him. Like...
But it is deserved, though.
He's still George Lucas, you know? Like, he still created Star Wars and Indiana Jones.
But that's not...
And Howard the Duck.
Yeah, that's why
Willow.
when you watch these films, you're like, man, you could have just, written something better.
Yeah, but he also could have rewritten Star Wars and just done something safe.
Well, that's what I already did. It was already a script, and then it was changed over time, and like multiple times. I don't know.
Yeah, that's the rumor. But obviously, he wanted to do these films because of a new possibility with the technology, with where the world was at the time where he was telling it. I mean, he remastered the sequel trilogy, which is the original trilogy, before doing these films. And one of the things that's interesting about this film is the way they demonstrated CG Yoda to him was they digitally recreated the scene from The Empire Strikes Back when Luke first meets Yoda. And you can find it online. You can see it's not John Knoll, it's another one of the ILM guys showing him this footage. And it's weird. It's really weird. And CG Yoda in this film is really weird.
Doesn't look very good.
It doesn't look good at all, I'd argue.
No.
I mean, we'll get to Last Jedi.
We saw the edition of Phantom Menace where Yoda
is CG. But that's more recent. That's from 2012. And you can tell that they've used all the innovations with skin technology, fur technology, with creating muscles underneath a computer-generated skeleton to make him a bit more convincing.
You got from that CG Yoda that's more recent
to this one.
This one. And
which
this
is
one looks...
2 years before Ang Lee's Hulk, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't look very good.
It doesn't look good at all. Okay, so the movie... When did you see this movie for the first time?
I saw this movie for the first time. I remember my siblings rented it once because my parents were...
It's a year before Ang Lee's Hulk, sorry.
So we went out for... my parents went out for dinner or something, like a party or something, and then we rented a film to watch. And they rented... Attack of the Clones. And I remember always my friends in class, they always talked about this film, and I had never seen it. And I was like, oh, that's interesting.
So what year did you see it for the first time?
It must have been 2013.
So you saw it almost...
2003.
Oh, so yeah, you saw it the year.
Yeah, like...
Or the year after.
The year after, something like that. When it was already on DVD, and back then it was...
DVD?
Yeah.
You had DVDs in 2003?
Or VHS. Yeah. I don't know. Whatever. But like, VHS didn't come out until like a year later. It wasn't like now, like it's just a month or two for them to come out, right? And I remember this movie being the first movie I ever fell asleep on. It was so boring.
During the Naboo scenes, I'm guessing.
Yeah. It was like, I remember I stopped caring during the sand bit. Like, I hate sand, and I think...
Oh, you mean the most infamous scene from this movie?
Yeah.
I just need to give context for a little bit. The reason I was so amazed that Gabriel had DVDs in 2003, even though they technically were in wide circulation by 2000, is because I grew up on an island called Tasmania, where I remember the first DVD I ever got would have been in about the year 2005, and I was... This is how much of a nerd I am. I was an avid VHS advocate. I thought VHS was the real way you were meant to watch a movie.
Oh,
and DVD,
what?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
and DVD was
What's
dirty
that?
because you didn't get the sensation of rewinding the videotape, and you just could skip, and I didn't like that. And I thought DVDs would wear down quicker, and my brother, who is much smarter than me, immediately said, no, you're an idiot. If a videotape gets scratched, it's irreparable, whereas a DVD, you can just buff it out, and it's fine.
Yeah.
Although now, looking back on it, I was right. DVD was a temporary and easily replaceable technology. Did I tell you that story about how last year Civic Video closed down at Bondi, and I went in and they were selling a DVD for $1, and I bought 30 DVDs.
I did the same thing.
You did? You went to Civic when it closed down?
It was the one on Leichhardt.
Oh, the Leichhardt one. Okay, yeah.
It was like one of the last days because I went in there. There
This
was
was the
nothing.
last day. Yeah,
There was
right.
nothing.
Nothing was left.
And I think I bought Star Trek 3.
Oh, right.
Friday versus Friday the 13th. I think is like part.
Oh, you mean the
7
remake?
or something
Oh,
like
okay.
that? Part 7 and like a bunch of like films that I like.
That looked interesting.
Like Animatrix was in there, which is like, oh
That's
man,
cool.
that's interesting.
Yeah.
And like shit like that. And a Terminator film. And I thought it was Terminator Salvation, but it's actually like a 3D animated Terminator film that
What?
I've never heard of. Yeah, it's there.
What, like Starship Troopers Roughnecks or something, where it's like just a CG remake of the movie?
I don't even know if it's a remake or like I have.
Mate, why have you never told me about this? We have to dig it out for our...
Terminator.
If we ever do another series.
Oh yes. Baron does
Maybe
have,
we
Baron
have
does
to go
have
back.
10 franchises that he wants to do.
I definitely don't have a list of all the franchises we're going to cover that will take up the rest of our natural lives.
Nah, it's not.
You know how Jeff Bezos, the minimum wage at Amazon is like $8 an hour, and how a worker would need to work 1.37, I believe, billion years? Maybe it's million, but it feels like a billion years to earn as much money as Jeff Bezos currently has. I feel like we need to live for something like 20 million years to watch all of the movies on my IMDb watch list. Do you know how many are on there now?
How many?
920. I counted the other day because I've got 2 lists from 2 separate accounts.
I think I have cheap films in there because
Have you only read it? Like, you forget?
I just never pay attention to things like that.
I always click add to watch list, add to watch list. I never think of the repercussions.
You know which film we need to talk about?
Which one?
Like Attack of the Clones.
Oh yeah, we probably should start talking about it at some point.
Okay, so the opening sucks.
No, I've got to tell you what I bought from Civic Video.
30
I bought, like,
films, yeah.
30 films. We'll go through each one of them in great detail. No, my point is, I bought 30 DVDs. I have not watched a single one since I bought them.
No, me neither.
I actually haven't watched a single one of them.
I actually bought Power Rangers movie. I tried watching
wicked.
it. I tried
Yeah.
watching it, but it was stressed.
Oh, yeah.
Like the end.
I bought a DVD of The New World, and I put it in, and the quality was so bad. It was like one of those early 2005, like before I think they were dual layered. And the quality was so bad. And, you know, it's Emmanuel Lubezki's cinematography, and it's a Terrence Malick film, and I was like, I would much rather just buy a Blu-ray of this. And, yeah, it really sucked. It really sucked. Attack of the Clones, I remember watching fondly on VHS.
Okay, so Attack of the Clones.
I first watched it, I'd say, also in 2003.
Did you see? You didn't see Phantom or this?
I didn't see
theaters?
Phantom in theaters. I think I saw Clones in theaters.
So you
I
might have
definitely
seen it.
saw Sith. I might have seen Clones
I
in
saw
theaters.
Sith. I remember.
would've been-
Oh, I have a story about.
No,
Sith.
yeah, I definitely saw Clones. I would have been 7 years old, and I do remember it. I think it was at the Village Hobart. It almost certainly would have been at the Village Hobart. I remember seeing Revenge of the Sith at Village Hobart. Yeah, good theatre. Terrible sound system, but good theatre.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So the opening scene sucks.
Yeah, I remembered it being better, where it's, you know, this assassination plot. But what sucks about it is that you've got this really great atmosphere and this good music after the crawl, which I don't even want to get into just how generic the crawl is. But you come down to the planet and you've got the ship rotating, you've got these weird purple flares, and then you cut away to this weird interior scene of what you assume is Queen Amidala talking to just 2 randos.
Oh, the crawl sets up that it's Senator Amidala. No,
You're right, not Queen. It's
not
Senator.
Queen. So
And
get your facts right.
yeah, I know. And even that is kind of bizarre. And then they land.
Weird.
2 random soldiers get out. One who is meant to be Captain Panaka, but is not, as we discussed. The actor who plays Captain Panaka in Phantom Menace.
He said that before he was in the film, he wanted to read the script.
Hugh Quashie was meant to play Captain Panaka. What
Yeah,
is Hugh Quashie?
he tried to. He wanted to read the script.
The whole
script before
he accepted the role.
Before he accepted the role, and then they wrote him out and put someone else in.
It's almost like he learned from his experience on Phantom Menace. That
It was like, wait a second.
he probably had like an hour of scenes cut out of Phantom Menace. Because you haven't seen the Attack of the Clones or Sith deleted scenes, right?
I haven't seen any.
It's like 45 minutes of deleted scenes. You know how most movies have like 1 or 2? Like, they cut a lot out. Like, you meet Padme's parents in one of the deleted scenes. And they're played by, like, they're played by two very famous... I think Graham Blundell plays her dad. Like, it's some very famous Australian actors play her parents. I'm telling you. Oh my god, I didn't know this, but Hugh Quashie is Ian Highlander, apparently.
Ooh,
which is
I
good.
love that
We've
film.
got I haven't watched it since I was quite young. Yep, so the movie begins with an assassination attempt on Padme's life. I think it's a pretty exciting setup for the rest of the movie. Then immediately you go to a meeting with the Jedi where the villain is named for the first time. Count Dooku.
They drop his name. Like,
no, they don't drop his name.
I think Padme says his name
with no evidence.
Like, they don't even say who is trying to kill her other side of the scene.
They don't care who's trying to kill her. They just want to protect her. They're like, we're not here to find out who's doing this. Like, everyone thinks it's crazy when Anakin's like, we'll find out who's trying to kill you, Padme. And Obi-Wan's like, no, Anakin, we're not here to do that. And he's like, why not? And Obi-Wan's like, well, because that's not what we're here to do.
We're keepers of the peace.
Not soldiers. A great line that definitely will hold true through this film.
Yeah.
And then, as they're leaving, Padme's like, oh yeah, I think Count Dooku did this. A guy we have never heard of.
Yeah, we haven't heard of him in the previous movie. In this movie, I think he's in the crawl. He is in the crawl. And, like, definitely. I don't know what they say about him in the crawl, but he's definitely on it. Baron is just checking right now.
Oh, yep. The Separatist movement under the leadership of the mysterious Count Dooku. So again, I just want to say, you know how I said last time that these films are interesting with how they course correct in certain ways?
Mm-hmm.
This film, George makes the exact same mistake as Phantom Menace, which is not introducing his central villain until almost halfway through the film. In Phantom Menace, it's Darth Maul, who doesn't interact with our main characters until halfway through the movie, after Anakin has beaten the pod race.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And in this film, Dooku shows up at, I think we clocked it at an hour, 15 minutes.
15. Yeah.
An hour 15 into the movie, Obi-Wan sees Dooku for the first time. And the way he sees him isn't a close-up on Dooku with him walking menacingly through a hall. It's Obi-Wan is staring off to the left of screen, and Dooku walks past, and you see him for all of, I think, 3 seconds on screen. And then you don't come back to a scene with him and Obi-Wan for another 20 minutes. It's absurd. It's really... And the thing that is really frustrating about this is that George Lucas introduced the most iconic villain of all time in the original Star Wars. Like, Darth Vader is introduced before Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, he's introduced before the main character.
He walks in on screen, the entire environment is white, the soldiers are white, Darth Vader, clad in black armor, walks out of a smoky, backlit set, and he is immediately identifiable as the bad guy. These films do a terrible job with their villains.
Yeah.
It's one of my biggest reasons why the movies don't work. Anyway, so in the movie, Padme names Count Dooku as her attacker. Anakin Skywalker and Obi-Wan are assigned.
Oh, you really want to talk about
her.
this?
Yeah.
The first time you meet your heroes,
yes,
it's in an elevator.
An elevator,
right?
Having some banter.
And they, like, the funny thing is that in the previous scene before they get introduced, I think Yoda. It's a mace window that says, "Oh, we'll have Obi-Wan and Anakin."
No, Palpatine suggests it.
Palpatine's
like, "What if it was someone familiar to you, like young Master Kenobi?"
Imagine in that moment,
Ian McDiarmid's voice is wonderful. I'm butchering it.
Imagine if in that moment, suddenly, it cuts to Obi-Wan and Anakin doing something extra cool in a planet.
Yeah, he's got to
like,
say something.
Running around, like
In
just
fact,
running away from like droids or something.
Windu says something like he's returning from a diplomatic mission. All
Yes.
you need to do is have Windu say, "Oh, Obi-Wan will be back tomorrow. He's on a diplomatic mission at the moment."
Yeah, and then you cut straight to Obi-Wan like
And Anakin,
running through a forest or something, and Anakin
It's Star Trek
like
2.
running back like, "Where were you guys?" Like,
Yeah,
I don't know, something
Star Trek
exciting
Into
like
Darkness. It's exactly what they do. It's like, Anakin, why did you kidnap the
princess.
why did
Anakin,
why did you
princess?
kiss the princess
I don't know.
in front of her father?
It's such a clear like way to introduce your main characters, but
Yeah.
instead They cut away to the
Standing in an elevator. Now, it's not a terrible way to introduce them, except, first of all, this scene was reshot. It's 100% confirmed that this was a reshot scene, because Ewan McGregor had his, I believe he'd had his beard shaved for Moulin Rouge, which was also shooting at Fox Studios Australia right after. Funny fact, I work 2 buildings over from where these films were shot. And from what I've heard, it was a really great experience for everyone working on them. A lot of blue screen, though. Anyway, Obi-Wan appears in this elevator with Anakin, and he's telling him to be calm, and Anakin's like, oh, I just can't stop thinking about Padme. It's been like 10 years since I've seen her. I really want to meet with Padme again. And their relationship is so vague in how familiar they are with each other and how friendly they are with each other. Like, I don't think they have a single moment of being friends in this whole film.
No.
There's a lot of them thrown into the third film.
Is there?
Yeah, in the third film, they're like cracking jokes. They're like,
oh yeah,
talking banter. They're like very comfortable with each other.
Yeah.
In this film, they always seem like they're being antagonistic towards each other.
Well, it feels like Anakin just hates Obi-Wan in this film.
Yes, well, he does. He actually says, Obi-Wan, he's holding me back. I hate him. He's like my father,
all Obi-Wan's
but
fault.
I hate him. It's all Obi-Wan's fault. And, so they meet Padme. Oh, before that.
Oh yeah, so you said that elevator scene confirmed to be a reshoot.
100% confirmed to
So
be a reshoot.
if that wasn't in the film, the first time we meet our main characters, is by Jar Jar Binks walking up to Obi-Wan and Anakin and just shaking their hands. And like...
And the first time you see Anakin is when Padme recognizes him.
Yeah, so it's like...
My goodness, you've grown.
My goodness, Shifron, you too.
Jake Lloyd, you
More
grew
beautiful.
Jake Lloyd, you grew up so much in 3 years.
You grew up so much that you're older than me now.
Yeah, that's true. I think Hayden Christensen is either 2 months or 2 years older than Natalie Portman. Again, I just need to say, all the actors in this film have done very good performances outside of the Star Wars films, including Hayden Christensen. I mean, we've talked about Shattered Glass. He's in a film before this that I saw a long time ago called A Life Less Imagined, I believe it is. I mean, I think he's fine in Jumper.
Oh yeah,
not a great film.
I liked him.
Where he's reunited with Samuel Jackson. Hayden Christensen is 38 years old. Dude is due for a comeback.
That's pretty young.
Yeah, he could do anything. He's good. I like him. I think Jake Lloyd is a better Anakin in the first film, as written, in how he performs the dialogue.
Yeah, you say that,
But
I kind of disagree.
everybody disagrees with me on that. That's fine. I think Hayden Christensen is given... And he's in Virgin Suicides, of course, which is, I believe, how George Lucas is aware of him, because Virgin Suicides is directed by Sofia Coppola, produced by Francis. George obviously would have met Hayden during production on that, I'd imagine. I completely forgot he's in Virgin Suicides. He must be one of the less famous boys. Anyway, I think Hayden Christensen really sucks in this film. And it sucks because he obviously... I said to you when we were talking off mic, you can watch the behind the scenes of them making this film, and Ewan and Hayden are having so much fun. Like, they're like energized together. You can see these guys being a good combo. And none of that's on screen.
So it's not so much that George Lucas didn't direct them. It's more like he actively made them act worse.
I heard a beautiful...
Because if they were just, not being directed, and it was just them performing however they think they...
Which is how many directors direct. Clint Eastwood, Woody Allen, are very famous for being hands off.
It would have turned out better. So it must have been George actively telling them to turn it down, or...
I think it's something much simpler. I think it's much, much simpler than that, actually. And this is something I'm really excited to talk about. So I heard a beautiful saying yesterday. Robin Williams, it was one of his kind of mid-80s interviews it would have been. And it's him talking about working on Dead Poets Society. And the thing that's so interesting about Dead Poets Society is that it was Robin Williams' first dramatic performance, which I didn't even know. Because, there are so many great dramatic performances in that decade and beyond, like The Birdcage... Patch Adams. There's heaps. Hook, to a degree, is a dramatic performance for him. It's really fascinating when he talks about what Peter Weir did for him and for those young boys, like Ethan Hawke and all of the other cast. Robin Williams basically said he created an environment where all of us felt like we could each have our moment of energy and we never were trying to steal energy from another performer. And what I love about that is he's putting the emphasis not on directing and being a leader and being the one who comes up with all the ideas. He's just creating an environment. And I think that's something that I hear said about many great directors, like about Nolan, about Spielberg definitely, is that they are masters of creating a workspace where you are able to be creative and you won't get shot down for creative ideas. Peter Jackson's very famous for that. And I think George is trying to do that for everybody who isn't working on the set on the day of filming. I think ILM is clearly an environment where creativity is allowed to flourish. We'll talk later about how ILM was given a huge amount of freedom and flexibility to create whatever they wanted in the battles. But I think for these actors, like Hayden, who this is his first big studio film, Ewan has barely done anything at this point except for Phantom Menace in terms of large studio projects. They're coming onto a set every day where it's nothing but blue screen. They sometimes have a reference actor opposite them, like I know for the Kimonians they did, but they have nothing to respond to, and George is the only guy who is telling them what they're meant to be reacting to, and as you and I think, agree, George isn't the best communicator at times. So I think they're literally in an environment where they are so afraid of doing anything wrong, and so afraid of stepping out of line, that they become wooden. That's truly, I think, why the acting in these films suffers the most.
I'd say that's a good theory, more than anything. No, it's like a good reason to give why they might
I just think that speaks to what you
that.
just said about how if he told them nothing, the performances might be better.
Yeah, my thought, and I think I've always thought this, is that it's more of a response to the original trilogy. How
Right.
Obi-Wan, he's very... Obi-Wan, Ben Kenobi is very
He's stoic.
stoic.
He's also charming, though.
He's
having fun.
He's having fun, but he is meant to be a monk.
Yes, he's meant to be
They
an
never
old
say
wise
this.
sage. Yeah.
He's an old wise sage. So I think most of the things with the prequels,
Yes.
like this got next to everything in the prequels, is that George wanted to closely adapt every hint he left in the original films, like the Clone Wars, the fact that he's a sage, and the Jedi and all that. He wanted to explain all that while using the original films as references.
Yes.
So if Obi-Wan is a monk and he's a master, all the masters are monks. So all the
Jedis,
Jedi
yeah.
are like that.
All of them must wear sand robes.
So now it becomes a plot point that the Jedi can't laugh and they're not allowed to have emotions, even though that was never in the original. But that's what George wrote, because they're meant to be monks and they're meant to be, thinking logic before emotion, right?
Not the worst idea for what would frustrate a young teenager being kidnapped from his home, not kidnapped, but taken from his home world, put into this incredibly rigorous, it seems, society of the Jedi Order. And, he falls in love with a young girl and he really wants to be with her. And they're saying no. My big problem is that neither of the films really treat his relationship with Padme as a danger. They very openly are in love and have, a massive apartment in the next film.
Yeah, that's right. They live together.
They live together in,
That's pretty weird.
in, the middle of the city. And, with open windows where they could easily be spotted.
Yeah, Obi-Wan...
Obi-Wan knows!
Well, Obi-Wan never hangs out with Anakin after work or something.
To be fair, would you want to hang out with Anakin after work? This character?
You're meant to take care of him. You're meant to teach him to not become evil, because in the Phantom Menace, it's introduced as he might be dangerous. So Obi-Wan should have been I'll be good for you. I don't know.
Oh, we should talk about the assassination attempt, because it's where the film really starts to go
Okay,
off
yeah.
the rails.
So after the scene with the wooden acting and there was something about Jar Jar in that scene. Remember?
What happens? What happens with Jar Jar?
He said something, I can't remember.
What? Padme's real beautiful, isn't she, Annie?
No, we might have to cut this off, but I remember I wanted to make a point about it. Can you play it?
She's forgotten me completely. She's happier than me seeing focusing on the negative, Anakin. Be mindful of your thoughts. She was pleased to see us.
Yeah, there we go.
So just yeah,
Okay. So something in that scene before we go to the assassination attempt
yeah.
is that Obi-Wan throughout this whole scene is saying things like, "Oh, we're here to do our job. We're here to like
You will obey my orders.
you
my
will
young
obey my
Padawan."
orders, young Padawan."
And then Anakin's shooting
Like,
back
and-
at him, and he's like, "No, Anakin, shut the fuck
Shut
up!
the fuck up!
We're in a
Anakin.
meeting right
We're in
now."
a meeting right now. And then at the end, she says,
Anakin, your erection is pushing up the table.
Then Obi-Wan at the end, he says, at the end of the scene, he says, "Yeah, he was pleased to see us." Like
She was pleased to see us.
she was pleased to see us, which is like this
Anakin,
is-
Padme really thinks that you're something.
Yeah, like Jesus
You
Christ.
might have a shot, my young Padawan.
That's like fucking throwing
then they-
throwing
yeah.
wind into the
I
fire.
know, he's throwing oil on a,
Throwing
on a
killing.
raging teenage fire. And then they talk about how Padme turned off her security cameras because she didn't like Anakin looking at her.
No. It's Anakin chooses not to put cameras on her.
No, it's Padme's choice.
Is it?
Padme didn't like him watching her. It's 100% Padme's choice.
Fine. But Obi-Wan sort of being like, yeah, bullshit, we need the cameras in there because...
No, don't worry, R2's in there, is what Anakin says. R2's in there, he's definitely on the job.
Yeah.
So much so that a little droid is able to fly up in front of the window, Mission Impossible a hole inside the window, drop in 2 bugs, which managed to avoid the motion detecting lasers
Oh yeah,
on the
the
floor.
worst lasers of all
The
time.
worst of the lasers
Like,
that only cover...
like it's these lasers that keep moving.
Yeah, they expand and then they contract.
They
like, over the
expand,
floor.
they contract, expand, and they contract.
And the bugs
but
drop
they,
in
they don't
directly.
span in like different times, so it's
So
always
you've seen
covered.
this film like 3 times before at least,
like
all the way
4 or
through.
5 times.
Yeah,
something like that.
I've seen it at least 3 times before this. I had never noticed those fucking lasers.
I always notice them.
Okay.
Always.
Well, you're just... Well, I was watching it on VHS and you were watching it on DVD. We've established
Okay.
this.
And like,
My Tasmanian VHS player was not high resolution enough.
and I'm like, and the fucking, they didn't even wait for the lasers to go out.
No,
They just drop.
they just drop. They just fall.
Like, oh, what a fucking.
Whatever, it's a tiny thing. The thing that really sucks is that the bugs climb up onto Padme, R2 is completely oblivious, and then the Jedi... This is very important. The Jedi sense something in the next
Anakin
room.
sense
No, Obi-Wan says, I sense it too.
Oh yeah.
They both sense it, they jump into the room, Anakin immediately cuts Padme's head off with his lightsaber, and the movie's over. He like slices the bugs off her. Now we get to the
Really
first...
precisely. The bugs are really small, so.
Now we get to the first of several massive moments in the film where characters' brains swap in their heads. So all of a sudden, Obi-Wan sees the droid outside the window.
He
He
jumps.
thinks, I'm going to jump on that. And he launches himself through the window, catches the droid, and plummets to his death because the droid cannot support his weight. Anakin goes, steals a car, drives after him.
Literally steals a
Steals a
oh
car.
my god, this. Anakin likes to steal.
Anakin likes to steal. We'll get to it.
We'll get to it, but Anakin,
Well-
that's the first time he steals something, okay?
No, you're forgetting that he stole Padme's heart, which is revealed later in the film.
But no, that's later in the film.
That's later in the film, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then we have, what, the worst... Second worst action scene in the film? Because there's a war scene in this film.
I would give it the worst. I think this scene is awful.
It's pretty bad.
George Lucas loves things going fast. He loves lots of dynamic action and movement.
Yes. My theory, I can talk about my theory.
Yeah, go for it.
So my theory is that George Lucas' favorite scene in the original must have been the spirit chase
Yes.
in Endor, in Jedi.
In Return of the Jedi, yeah.
Because he tries to replicate that same feeling in
all
each
his
of the
films.
prequels.
Yeah.
There's a pod race that is very similar.
Well, I mean, it's kind of the same feeling that you get on the trench run.
But in the trench run, they're not dodging anything. Ever.
That's true. Yeah, oh, they're dodging the ships that are like in the trench with them. I get what you
no.
mean about the speeder bikes, about how they're very tangible. You're flying through a forest where everything's very dangerous.
Yeah.
And of course, it's worth mentioning, George Lucas, when he was, I believe, 22, 23 years old, was in a near-fatal car accident. Like, he loved driving. He owns a Ferrari. He owns several sports cars. He is a
American
massive...
Freedom, right?
Yeah, I mean, he
Right.
loves
Racing.
cars. The guy loves vehicles. He loves going fast. He's a very tactile filmmaker when it comes to this kind of stuff. I think this scene completely betrays all of his instincts about that, though.
Yeah.
I think this scene feels completely void of any kind of weight, any kind of tension.
We have 2 moments of characters falling over into another ship.
Yes.
You have
And
Obi-Wan
Obi-Wan does
falling.
it first.
Obi-Wan falls into the speeder where Anakin is, and then
Anakin jumps out of the speeder.
jumps off the speeder to fall on the bad guy's ship.
Yeah, you know how it could have worked better? Anakin just jumps out in the first place and jumps onto the bad guy's ship.
And then it makes sense when Obi-Wan says, "Oh, not again."
Yeah, exactly.
It's just
Hate
like
it when he does that.
Hate it when he does that.
Yeah, hate it when he does that. Anyway, the chase is long. It's really long and it's really boring and it looks terrible.
Yeah.
One thing I want to bring up quickly, because this film changes something considerably on two departments from Phantom Menace and from all the previous Star Wars films. Up until this film, all the Star Wars films have been shot majorly on film. Phantom Menace has 2 scenes, I believe, that are shot using the new Sony Cinealta cameras. This film is the first mainstream Hollywood production that filmed entirely with the Sony Cinealta cameras, the 900 series. Now, what's interesting to know about these cameras is that they've been used on many great films. They were used on Rachel Getting Married. They're still used, I believe, in broadcast TV. I think The Big Bang Theory shot with them for the first few seasons. They're very, very powerful industry standard cameras. The thing about motion picture film, however, is that motion picture film has a resolution of around 6,000 pixels. If you were to roughly convert the granular structure of film and interpret that as a pixel, you've got about 6K resolution, which is why 35mm film is still superior to most commercial cameras. Now, what's interesting about this film is the Sony supports a resolution of 1920 by 1080, or as we call it today, Full HD. Now, that was higher than was required at the time for broadcast. Broadcast back then was only 480. So it was considered like a massive upscale in resolution. But about 10 years ago, and I think it was 2009, ILM and Lucasfilm said, we are going to remaster all of the films and release them for Blu-ray. It must have been more than 10 years ago by now, because the Blu-rays aren't that old, aren't that recent. But what they found was you can upscale A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, all to 4K, no problem. You can upscale Phantom Menace, for the most part, without any problems. You can't upscale Clones or Revenge of the Sith. Because, as you probably know, resolution doesn't really mold well to being upscaled. Eventually, you just start getting artifacts and you get degradation, you get bayering, you get all these issues to do with digital resolution that you don't have with film. Like, film can be rescanned at whatever size you want, and it should look pretty good. Like, I've seen The Dark Knight, which has many scenes, the majority of the scenes shot on 35mm, projected at IMAX. And yeah, it doesn't look as good as the IMAX stuff, but it still looks good. It's this weird thing where they leant so hard into shooting these films digitally that I think both it affected the cinematography, the makeup, all the other departments, and it's affected the long-term legacy of the films, because they can't ever be restored to their full quality to match with today's displays.
What a shame.
I know, it's such a shame. The other massive change is, of course, the entire film is comprised of CGI environments, more CGI characters than any film before it.
Yeah.
There is one scene of the entire film that has no use of green screen.
Yeah.
One scene. And
it's kind of funny.
It's pretty nuts. And would you say that most of the CG has held up well?
I can point out specific shots that might still look alright, but the rest of it looks still like it looks awful. The rest of it, there's some CG. I mean, we recently saw Lord of the Rings again.
Yes, we did
in the cinema.
Yep.
And those films are 2002.
No,
2001, 2 and 3.
I believe 2001, 2002, 2003.
Right?
Yeah.
And not everything looks great on those films. And this is the truth. Some really long shots that there is like inserted armies that are completely computer generated, and they don't look that good.
Yeah, I think.
But then things like not the dragons, the things that the Nazgul.
Oh, the Nazgul's
mounts.
Yeah,
those things still look amazing. Like there's still like things in those films that look really good. They look like today's standard.
Absolutely. I mean, even Gollum looks amazing.
Yeah, but on the other hand, Star Wars, the prequels, all of that whole Coruscant scene looks terrible.
They've aged really badly. Terrible. And one of the things I think is worth mentioning is that the advantage of something like creating Gollum is that you're shooting him in a real environment with real light sources, and this is around the time that HDRI is starting to come in, which is where you take a sphere. You've seen this on sets where they take a sphere, put it in the middle of a soundstage or a set, and that creates a reference for the direction of light, the depth of the light or the strength of the light, as well as the shadow. And you flip it and you get a reflective surface and you get a matte surface. And those let you create your materials with true specular light imagery as well as light density. And that's one of the reasons why the stuff that's shot on a soundstage in this film, like on Camino, looks better than the stuff that's just purely in a CGI environment where they're having to create light sources completely from scratch. And Gollum looks as good as he does in part because they trained a special effects and makeup artist to use the computer at Weta Digital so that he could get the texturing right, so that he could get the effect of the skin and the way the skin would fold and the way that Gollum's teeth looked, and all of that was created by somebody who had a familiarity with a tactile medium. Because we're talking about the infancy of CGI technology. I mean, Jurassic Park is 93, and since then we've had maybe a few advancements, but really, Phantom Menace is the first time anyone has put 100 CG characters on screen.
Yeah.
And in Attack of the Clones, it's 1,000.
Yeah.
He massively
No,
upscales.
like thousands.
Yeah. But Two Towers comes out the same year as this. Great year for Christopher Lee, can we just say. What an amazing year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Love Christopher Lee in this. He is the one good performance of this film,
Kind of.
I would argue.
Kind of.
He holds the film together from the halfway point very well. Anyway, Coruscant scene's really boring. They go into a club.
But they go into the club, which
Now.
you have a nice trivia about it.
Yeah.
Oh no, before that trivia, we have the dumbest line in this film, which is Obi-Wan saying, "This weapon is your life." It's like,
Yeah, he holds out
sure.
Anakin's lightsaber and says,
I think they were literally
this weapon
just
is your
setting
life.
up the joke at the end when
Yeah,
Anakin loses his lightsaber.
Oh yeah, 100%.
and he says, "Oh, Obi-Wan's not hate me," and that's the whole reason that scene is there.
It's almost like it was the fourth draft of the script.
That's more than other directors.
It's more like it was the fourth draft of the script. Do you
Yeah.
want to tell that story? Allegedly, this film started shooting with the fourth draft of the screenplay.
Yes.
Because George took a long time to write it. And he wrote
Because
the
he was
first
depressed,
He was
because-
very depressed.
Of the Phantom Menace.
But he had
projection.
to keep making them. I mean, you've got to finish the story. So
So like they were in pre-production
yes,
months before the script even started.
of course, you have to be.
So
That's not uncommon.
how
Though.
do
That
you-
always happens. That
But
always happens.
what are you preparing?
No, he says to them like, "There's going to be a planet where the clones are made. There's going to be a planet where there's a battle at the end."
So then he does have an idea what's
well,
going to happen.
mate, if you're making a film called Attack of the Clones, you know there's a planet where the clones are going to be, and where it's Star Wars. You know there's going to be a planet where the battle takes place. Like, if I was making a Star Wars film tomorrow, I'd be like, okay, there's almost certainly going to be a planet where a battle takes place. Like, let's and maybe it'll be a planet that has lots of like hanging trees, like it's in the deep south, but they're giant and they hang like this, and you come up with stuff well in advance because there's thousands of people you got to employ. So that's not what is weird though is that George has basically very publicly acknowledged that the script was very far from finished. And there are many instances, apparently, where things were changed on set, things were ad-libbed on set.
That's kind of weird.
It's very weird.
Because I think that this script is better than Phantom Menace.
I think
genuinely-
it's actually worse.
I genuinely think it's so much better than Phantom Menace.
I think-
because Phantom Menace, it has an element of randomness.
This film
The
has
whole
an
story.
actual story. This film has an actual story
Yes.
they're trying to tell.
Yes,
But I think...
Phantom Menace is like what they save Naboo.
Yeah, they save a
That's it.
planet. It's about them saving one planet. Which could be good. Could be really fun. They go
Could
into the club. Hayden Christensen has alleged... And this is IMDb trivia we're getting this from, so please don't assume that any of this is...
Yeah, Hayden, if you listen
Exact
to
truth.
this, don't.
Hayden, if you listen to this, I really want you to have a comeback, man. I'm sorry that you had to do Season of the Witch with Nick Cage. Please come back to us, Hayden, and do a great performance.
That's not than prequels.
Hayden, I will absolutely work with you any day of the week. You've got my number. Call me. I'd love to buy you breakfast again. Hayden Christensen has alleged that this was his favourite scene to film because it had the least use of green screen. It's a real set, of course, as you said.
It's a real set.
The screens are blue screen.
The screens must have been blue.
George Lucas's daughter is somewhere in this scene, apparently playing a blue Twi'lek. Which
Really?
is pretty interesting.
There's
yeah.
only one blue Twi'lek.
No, it's not the Jedi. It's like there's. It's probably her. Yeah,
Really?
that's got to be her. I also thought that was Ahmed Best earlier, but it's not. Anyway, this scene.
There's a purple Twi'lek.
There's a really awesome edit of this scene. Have you ever seen? I think it's called like Two Guys Walk Into a Club or something. And it's all of the scenes in movies that take place at like nightclubs or strip clubs or like dirty bars. And it's like, it's structured around this. It's the Attack of the Clones, Anakin and Obi-Wan walk in, and then it cuts to like the bar from the original Star Wars. It cuts to like the scene in Scarface. I think it cuts to the bar from Fight Club. It just intercuts with all these different bars from movies. And the thing is that the language of shooting bar scenes is very similar between movies. Magnolia's in there. It's because all it is people looking at other people, and all it is people looking across the room at like other people's eye lines. So it works really well if you edit them together. Tech Noir from the Terminator's in there. Have you seen this?
No.
It's really good. I'll have to show you after. If you go on the internet, you can find it pretty easily. Anyway, the assassin. Oh no, we're skipping over my favorite character from the film. Elaine Sleaze-Bagano, played by Matt Doran, who is one of Australia's finest actors from 2 films. Elaine Sleaze-Bagano, played by Matt Doran. Matt Doran, of course, is also the mouse in Matrix. Elaine Sleaze-Bagano.
I wonder if he's sleazy.
I wonder if he's sleazy. Do you think that George Lucas doesn't like cigarettes?
Oh, that's right, because he's trying to sell death sticks.
He's trying to sell death sticks.
Just cigarettes. It's just a cigarette he's holding.
George Lucas has publicly admitted he wrote the character of Elaine Sleaze-Bagano as a anti-smoking message, which is pretty funny.
Like, do you want death sticks?
Let's do the scene. Come on. You're Elaine. Go.
Do you want death sticks?
No, you got the.
I don't know.
Okay, I'll you be Obi-Wan.
Okay.
You want to buy some death sticks?
I don't know the lines.
Oh man. You don't want to sell me death sticks. I don't want to sell the death sticks. You want to go home and rethink your life. I want to go home and rethink my life. Great scene. Great 10-second scene. The assassin, Sam Wessel, is wandering around the club.
Okay, so this is one of the weirdest bits because it's trying to fake us out, right? You see Anakin walking around, and then you see the assassin walking slowly with a gun, but walking slower than Anakin.
Yes.
And for some reason, the movie's it's edited in a way that's trying to convince you that the assassin is gonna kill Anakin.
Hey, it's not that bad. It's not that bad.
And then it cuts to Obi-Wan, and it's just like, but I don't get it. Why would you do that?
Well, it ups the tension because all of a sudden Obi-Wan's back's turned. Do you think?
But it's so
I don't think it's that bad, honestly.
I don't think it's that well done.
I don't think it's
great. It's a bad fake out.
Well, the thing that sucks is that in the previous scene, you know that they can sense things in other rooms. So it should be pretty easy for them to sense, oh, there's a gun right there.
Oh, yeah, and even worse than that is that Obi-Wan takes like half a second, maybe a second to pull out his lightsaber and cut off the assassin's hand.
The assassin
has her finger on the freaking trigger.
She has him at point blank range. She knows this is the guy that was... Actually, no, she doesn't.
It's a Jedi.
They don't know that. So.
It's
Oh no, of
Jedi.
course, it's the one he jumped on the droid. Of course it is.
Yeah.
Anyway, they cut off the assassin's hand. They drag the assassin outside. They try to interrogate them. And by the way, these are mind-reading Jedis. They don't need to interrogate her. They can
But
just...
the use of the Force has been...
No, it isn't. They sensed something in the other room in the previous scene.
Oh,
What are you talking about?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the movie doesn't know.
Maybe it's just Yoda and Windu that they...
Yeah, Yoda is just useless.
This is just like the Strangelove. They don't want to admit they're getting old. That's why they start a war.
Oh yeah, it's so good.
They think that someone
movie-
is blocking their minds, so it's actually just them, like growing old, and they don't want to admit that.
No longer can we tolerate the sequestering of our precious bodily fluids. Gentlemen, you can't fight in here. This is the war room.
You just imagine the whole attack scene in Doctor Strangelove, but with Jordan as the leader.
He's so good. Yoda. Oh man.
Okay.
Doctor Strangelove, how I learned to stop worrying and love the Yoda.
So you make this really great point.
Yes. Did I?
That Jango Fett? Yeah, Jango Fett.
Django!
Shoots.
Named after the character Django from Django.
Jango Fett shoots the assassin before.
In the neck with a tranquilizer dart.
Yeah, before he shoots.
Not a tranquilizer, a poison dart.
A poison dart. Before he shoots Anakin or Obi-Wan.
No, he
Why?
doesn't even try to take a shot at Anakin or Obi-Wan.
Yeah, like.
Okay, Django Fett has a rocket on his backpack. There are 3
But
targets.
they can sense that.
Very. Oh, come on!
You can hear that.
What can they sense and what can't they sense?
They can hear that. Come on, it's a
No,
rocket being
that's
fired.
stupid.
That's a rocket being fired. But they could have just shot Obi-Wan or...
He could have easily killed them.
One of them, at
There's
least.
no reason not to kill them.
Yeah.
Also,
Stupid.
you made a good point that the whole reason this movie happens is because Jango Fett uses a highly traceable poison dart from the same planet he is staying on.
Yeah.
Now, I don't
So-
know much about assassins.
So the dart he uses is later identified by Dexter Jettster,
The greatest
the
character
greatest
in
character
Star Wars.
of any history of cinema.
Yeah. What cinema was invented for.
Yes.
The Lumiere brothers had a dream when they woke up and they thought, oh my god, it's a creature with 4 arms who runs a diner!
Dexter Jettster
Let's call Edison right now!
identifies that as being made in Camino,
Yeah.
or like it's from Camino.
This dart only comes from them
Why would a
cloners.
bounty hunter, assassin, or whatever use something that is that traceable? Unless they do something like Dark Knight. Like in Dark Knight, they do have the fingerprint on the bullet.
Let's not talk about that scene in Dark Knight. It doesn't exist. It's the one scene in that movie that makes no sense and it doesn't exist. Dark Knight is a perfect film. I always...
Wait, you don't like that scene?
I have watched Dark Knight more times than almost any other movie. I still... Wait, no, let's talk about this. So, the Joker shoots a bullet, or the Joker's henchman shoots a bullet into the wall. Batman drills out that brick. He takes that brick... He then takes a minigun and loads 4 rounds into it. He fires into 4 similar bricks. He compares that one to the round in the wall that he took for the one that's the most similar with the way the bullet entered. He then scans both bricks, and then Lucius Fox creates an AI, I guess, reassembly of the way the bullet would have shattered, which somehow he's able to pull the fingerprint off the original. What the fuck? Why wouldn't you just...
And then the fingerprint is
identified to an address, which is where Batman goes, which is where the Joker needs him to be, so he can distract the snipers so Joker can shoot at the mayor. What?
That's pretty stupid. That's pretty stupid.
The Joker somehow needs to know that Batman has fingerprint tracing technology that is going to take him exactly until midday.
He probably
the
knows
next-
that. He probably knows that. I think there's more problems
Yeah.
than that. I think it's bigger than that. It's more like...
By the way, we saw Joker this week.
Oh, we're going to talk about that in another...
No, not really. I mean, you liked it a lot.
I want to talk about a clone.
Oh, we could talk about... No, we'll get to more
Let's talk
clone
about
stuff.
clones.
We'll get to another clone stuff.
I want to talk about Attack of the Clones, and at the end, if you want to talk about Joker, we can do it.
Well, you like Joker, and I didn't love it as much as I thought I would. Yeah. But I went in with pretty like average expectations, and I think it's a really well made movie. I just don't really know what it was trying to say by the end. And not
I
every
don't
movie
really
needs to
think
say
I
something.
want to talk about it right now.
Okay, that's fine.
We
We'll move
shouldn't
on.
talk about it right now.
We'll move on. So Obi-Wan visits Dexter Jettster, and for some reason the Jedi decide that Anakin, the man who has expressed nothing but pure horniness for Senator Amidala, will be the man to escort her to her home planet.
Well, the Jedi Masters can't see his spawn now. That's why.
I also want to tell you, Padme's planet is like the most beautiful place on Earth. Like, it's like the most romantic
In the
city
universe.
you could ever imagine. It's so romantic that when there was a war there, it still looked good. Like,
Your point being?
they go canoeing on like a beautiful river. Like, they get taken in a gondola. Like, they have beautiful, lush fruit dinners. What did they think was gonna happen?
I think they wanted it to happen.
No!
It might have been like a test.
You're giving them...
They test in Anakin.
Yeah, well, he failed completely and it
Yeah,
never
that's
comes
right.
up.
But it never comes back, so no, never mind. It's just stupid.
He kisses her after like 4 hours on the planet.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's move on.
Oh yeah, well, I really wanted to talk about how Anakin and Palpatine is what everyone says that the prequels are not the
best
best
part.
They're not the best, but the best part of it is Palpatine's race to power, right?
Yes.
And his
In
race to
Phantom,
power,
in Phantom Menace...
his race to power it's because of Anakin, right? In Phantom
No,
Menace,
it's not. No, it's not. In Phantom Menace...
in Phantom Menace, his rise to power in that movie, like everything that is about him, is him becoming the Chancellor.
Yes. Becomes the Chancellor of the
Which
Republic.
is all the Senate stuff, which is really... One of the things that most people criticized that film for, it was Jar Jar, and then it was the politics.
Yeah, the politics. But the problem is that you can make... as we were talking about when we were watching the film, you can make politics dramatic and exciting, and many movies have. Many movies have.
Yes.
Some of the greatest movies ever made are about politics and about like the machinations of politics.
Yes.
This film and Phantom. The problem is that Phantom starts out as a balls to the wall action film. Then it becomes a politics film. Then it becomes a war film at the end. You need to have a way to intersperse it.
It's a politics film when there is no politics. Really. They say, "Oh, I'm gonna try and be the Chancellor. I'm gonna see if they vote for me. Oh, they voted for me. I'm on the Chancellor."
They
now.
vote for him off screen.
Off screen. Like there isn't an action scene. There isn't like a scene where they are like everyone's voting and you see like the points or something like that, and like Palpatine is like biting his fingers like, and then when he sees that he's on Rise, he's like, yes, and like there's anything like that. He just walks in, he's like, oh, I'm the Chancellor now.
No, he's not even Chancellor. He's like, I have been nominated, and I will become Chancellor.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then by the end he is the Chancellor.
And my point in Attack of the Clones is that
I think George knows the politics is boring and he's just trying to get past it quickly. And because of that, like, it isn't interesting.
So my point in Attack of the Clones is that if Anakin and Palpatine's relationship is one of the most important things about the prequels...
Why is the way that they're introduced?
They're introduced just talking to each other.
Yeah.
In this film. They don't have like a first meeting that Palpatine doesn't try to talk to him. It isn't like
Palpatine doesn't summon him.
Like it's not like Obi-Wan and Anakin are like talking and it's like, oh, Palpatine wants to see a Jedi,
and Anakin walks in,
and then like be like, okay, Obi-Wan is like, oh, I'll go and meet him, and then the guy says, no, wait, he asked for Anakin, or like something like that.
Something good.
That would have been interesting, but no, they're just there. They're just talking to each other.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, what?
Yeah, it should be like that.
So
yeah, it should be like that scene in Godfather 2 where or Godfather 1 when, you know, Al Pacino goes to Vegas and they're like trying to woo him. I want Palpatine to be Mo Green. Anakin was banging cocktail waitresses 2 at a time. Anyway,
what happens with that?
What happens is that Palpatine says, I foresee you becoming the most powerful of all the Jedi, even more powerful than Master Yoda. And that's how the scene ends. That is the introduction of the main arc of all of these films, which is Anakin betraying Obi-Wan and the Jedi and joining forces with Palpatine.
Yeah.
It isn't set up at all in movie 1. Palpatine meets Anakin at the very end and says, we'll watch your career with great interest.
in Phantom Menace they say that boy is dangerous.
For no reason!
Right?
For no reason!
Yeah.
And then in this film, they're like, yeah, he's dangerous. But yeah, he can chat with Palpatine. He can go off to Naboo with Padme. He's fine.
We'll send this Padawan, which is the same age as 5 years younger or whatever,
who has expressed openly that he has a deep love for her.
Yes, let's send him to protect her
on this beautiful
on
planet.
this beautiful planet that is really romantic. Oh my god!
You can eat pears together and frolic.
They dine alone.
You had a they dine alone.
That would have been interesting if there was like always someone there, looking after Padme, like making sure they're doing anything.
If it was like Rebecca and she had like a creepy housekeeper that was always checking.
Yeah, and like Anakin is like trying to like make her go away. He makes a sound somewhere else. Oh, you better go and check on that. We're alone now. I don't know. Like that would have been funny.
You just want it to be like a wacky comedy, wasn't it?
That would have been funny.
It would have been something.
It would have been interesting that Anakin is actively trying to get on Padme's pants.
Would have been pretty funny. These guys are just 2D, by the way. See that?
Damn.
Anyway,
in the temple.
Anyway, we've got to keep going. So, oh god, this whole movie.
The worst looking shots.
Now,
Jar Jar. Do we want to talk about that scene?
Which scene?
The one you have on screen right now, with Padme and...
Well, yeah, the whole reason that all evil happens in the Star Wars universe is because Jar Jar Binks is appointed her successor.
Oh, that's right. And it just happens in the background of a shot, like...
Jar Jar, I'm counting on you. Okay, Padme, I promise I won't give anyone supreme power over the universe. Ah!
Oh my god, that's right. It's that scene. That's
it's
the
that
most important scene in the
Padme single-handedly causes the end of the Republic.
The end of all Jedi.
The end of all,
everything.
She causes her own death.
Well, that's fucked up.
Yeah, all the Star Wars universe depends on Padme Amidala giving Jar Jar Binks power to vote in the Senate.
The dumbest. It couldn't have been the security guy, right?
No, of course not.
It couldn't have been fucking.
No, it couldn't have been someone with intelligence, otherwise it wouldn't have worked.
Jesus, I would have given to the decoy first.
Oh, and you know, the thing that you said that is such a beautiful fix for this movie is that they should go to Naboo and somebody should try to kill them there.
While they're in Naboo, this should have been an assassination attempt. And Anakin goes out of his way to actually save Padme, but actually go in further, like try and capture the person or something.
Yeah, like Anakin should be the one fighting Jango Fett.
And then, Anakin, going so out of his way to do something for her would start, the romance stuff.
Now, talking about convoluted plots, why does Dooku try to have Padme killed? Or vice versa?
No, it's not Grande.
But why 10 years later? It's not Newt Gunray. Not Solomon Grundy.
No, it's not Grande.
Newt Gunray.
Yeah. Because he wants her killed.
Yeah, but it's 10 years later. This is the first time he could have had her killed?
Yeah.
He invaded her planet, easily.
But no, he's been in prison for 10 years.
He's what?
He's been in prison.
He's been in prison?
I don't know.
He's been in space prison. He has all his army back.
Wait. Why isn't Grande being, still in prison?
Why does he still have an army?
Why is he free? Why does he still have
He
an army?
illegally occupied a bloody... Can you imagine if Hitler invaded Poland and then, the Allies defeated him easily before he got any further, and then 10 years later he invaded Poland again? What?
That's pretty funny.
Don't do that again!
I never thought about that.
Yeah, it's pretty stupid.
10 years later, he goes to prison, then years later they just let him go and they're like,
oh yeah, have your army
Don't
back.
be evil again, okay?
Now, Newt.
Don't be
Now,
evil.
Newt. You know how you invaded an entire planet last time? And we lost one of our Jedi to retake it?
Jedi Master.
We lost a Jedi Master. Don't do that again.
Don't do that again. Then he literally just goes straight to Geonosis.
He's like, oh, Dooku, I want to kill her.
I want to kill Padme
Wait, we're
Amidala.
not making him sound Asian enough. I want to kill Padme Amidala. It's the worst voice. Voiced by a white... It's voiced by the same guy who is the one with the tall head. The Jedi with the big pee-pee head.
Oh, Kim
at-
Andimundo.
Yeah, Kiadi Mundi.
Yeah, Mundai.
I'm gonna Google Jedi penis head.
Oh no!
I thought it was. I thought it was him for a second. Yay! Google images Jedi penis head with safe search on, and you will get Kiadi Monday. That's pretty funny. Okay. Anyway, so then we get the most important scene in the whole movie.
In any movie.
Yeah.
Thanks to Jester.
You can't even say it. Come on.
The Dexter Jexter Cafe.
No, excuse me. The Dexter Jetster Diner.
Oh, that's
Doesn't
a diner.
doesn't that just roll off the tongue? What movies were made for? And Obi-Wan is greeted by Flo, the waitress.
How do you know that name?
Flo. It's Flo. It's just Flo, you know.
They
it's
never
Flo.
said her name in the film.
I have never memorized so much about a movie I hate as this movie. To be clear, we're having a lot of fun talking about this movie. I think this is the worst Star Wars movie.
Oh my god.
This is by far the worst Star Wars movie.
Byron was actively trying to not watch the film by looking things in his computer. I had to stop him. I had to be like, you don't want to watch
Every once
this
in a
movie,
while,
do
I'd be happy, and you were like, what is it? I'm like, oh, I read something on IMDb trivia.
you? Like, Byron, we need to watch this film.
You're like, what's going on? And I'm like, oh, Trump's being impeached. You're like, you just kept looking over, and you're like, Byron, why are you happy? I'm like, oh, South Park's making fun of China again. All the other stuff in the world is making me so much happier because I'm watching this movie and it's just terrible.
2 more movies on our way.
I know.
4 more movies and we get to a good one.
Oh god, I forgot. We've got to do
Solo, Rogue One.
no 3 more. 3 more movies.
Yeah.
Don't.
You like Rogue One.
Are we combining Rogue One and Solo? Did we decide that we're doing that?
Nah,
for the
we're
episode?
doing... I think
We're doing 1 and 1?
Solo might be a short episode.
I think we should do 1 and 1. We should do
Yeah, 1 and 1.
Yeah,
We do
yeah.
Solo and then we do Rogue One.
yeah, but then we're gonna have to put out Solo midweek.
No, it's 10 weeks. It's 10 movies.
Oh, by the way, Return to the Rise of Skywalker trailer is going to drop on October 21st, which will be 22nd for us. So
Yeah.
we'll be able to talk about it when I get back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, we're watching the trailer together?
Yeah, well, what day is the 21st? This is a great thing to look up in the middle of a podcast. Oh, I'm back.
Monday,
I'm back
so
on
you-
Monday. I'll come over on Monday and we'll do a reaction. And
We
we'll
can't
record
because
it.
21st. You can't do it on 21st.
Yeah, I can.
It's not coming out 21st for us.
No, it will come out on the 22nd. So you and I can like record the night of the 21st probably, because that's the American. Oh no, you're right. It will be the night of the. Oh god, I'll look up the American time.
We're gonna wake up on the 22nd and it's gonna be out.
I'll call you and we'll record the call. Let's just do that for one, and we'll just put it up as like a little
Record
5-minute
the
thing.
call.
Let's just do that. Hell
That's
yeah.
a bit weird.
Well, I mean, the whole point of this series, I don't know if we even said this last episode, is that we're building up to the Rise of Skywalker.
You know, you
Actually, I'm pretty sure it's in the title of the series.
And you said it.
Yeah, I did say it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's all that's important. And let's keep talking about other things instead of talking about Attack of the Clones.
Oh no, I love talking about Dexter Yx's diner.
So one of the things...
This is the first time I've ever realized that he has a mustache.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
It's the only thing I remember about him.
I never noticed it.
He's the one alien that has
I keep looking at
human
his
facial hair.
his fucking
His George Lucas gullet.
yeah. I keep looking at his gullet.
So I told you the hilarious story about how George Lucas came into the model shop and was looking at the different puppet heads, right? And then he's looking at these two guys. One's got like a real penis neck and the other one's like a hammerhead looking dude. And they're both really generic and they've got no like personality on their face. And John Knoll, always the hero, comes over and says, George, I actually think this guy here...
John Knoll, the visual effects.
John Knoll, the visual effects supervisor of this film and all great films outside of Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, if you look it up, it's like
Visual effects supervisor of Aquaman, visual effects supervisor of
Why would
Pacific
you
Rim.
say Aquaman
Because the
first?
VFX are great!
No, they're not.
I think they're pretty great.
No, they're not.
They're pretty fun. You'll admit that Aquaman
Yeah, but they're not
is...
good.
I think they're pretty good.
They're not good.
They're meant to be, like, weird and fantastical, and they are.
But
Aquaman...
they just look bad.
Gabe,
They look
Aquaman
bad.
is the one movie that can get away with having campy, weird visual effects. And it
No, I
does.
think Star Wars is it's meant to be that.
No, because
Yes.
you hate it when Star Wars goes campy.
But that's not campy.
This is pretty campy.
No,
Dexter's
Phantom
Diner?
Menace is not like prequels are not campy. The
you
original is
serious?
campy.
The original...
With the devil,
original's
the
camp.
devil monster,
But that's
the
fun.
Wolfman.
That's fun camp.
Yeah, that's camp.
Alright.
That's my definition of camp.
I get what you mean. Greedo's family's in
This
the
is
background.
just trying too hard. This is just trying too hard. Yeah, Byron. Every time you see a Greedo,
What is his
Sorry.
species? I want to know.
it's not important.
Yeah, no, it's important to me. A Rhodian. They're called Rhodians. You can play as them in one of the Star Wars games. Don't know which one.
And the only race important is the Twilight. Come on.
No, I love the I don't know. I love the...
Oh, and Sebulba's in the background because every one of those aliens is a Sebulba.
Yeah, what's the bulbous species? Let me Google that.
Come on, no, don't do that.
Alright, talk about Dexter's Diner. Why is it
And what is Dexter's species?
Dexter's Diner. So, Obi-Wan goes to Dexter, puts the dart down. Within 2 seconds, Dex is like, oh yeah, this is from Camino. It's from Camino. It's from this very specific planet. And all they do on this planet is clone people. Why do they develop poison darts?
Wait, yeah, my question is, if that's a clone facility, I guess there's another facilities in the planet?
No, it's a planet of cloners.
Yeah, they do say planet clones.
He arrives at the lobby of the planet.
So why...
He arrives at the one building on the planet.
There's
where-
another building in the background. In the
Yeah, but that's the reception. He lands at the
has to
watery,
be, it has to
rainy reception.
But like, why would he use a dart that trays in back there?
Yeah,
Like,
he's a terrible
so
bounty
stupid.
hunter.
Yes.
That would be like if you were an assassin, and this is what I was trying. What? What did I Google?
Dexter Yxter. Google Dexter Yxter.
Dexter species, and you get all these. What?
Dexter.
No, it tries to autocorrect to what species was Obi-Wan's friend? Dexter Jetster. Oh, that's great. That's so good. You laughed so loud into the mic, the sound completely blew out. Oh, he's a basilisk.
Basilisk?
A basilisk. Not a basilisk from Harry Potter the year before. A basilisk.
Why?
George Lucas is lazy
why?
sometimes. You know what Sebulba is? A dog. He's a dog. Remember
he's a dog?
remember when Trump was like insulting everyone by saying Jim Mattis is gonna get wasted like a dog. Gonna treat him like a dog. Oh man. I mean,
I don't know who Donald Trump is. Let's go back to
oh yeah,
Dexter
that's right.
Yxter.
Yeah.
Let's go back to Dexter Yxter.
45th president. It's we'll insert the name of whoever the 45th president is right now. Now that impeachment proceedings have happened. Hey, what do you think about new policy on ending hunger around the world? It's pretty good, right?
I don't know, but I think the Hong Kong shit is really fucked up.
Yeah, isn't it good
I
how
know.
president has now intervened in China and like given them support? Isn't it really good how has now intervened in Syria and like ended the conflict and world peace is on the horizon? Because this podcast is coming out
I think we
a
need
few
to-
weeks from now.
I
So
think
world peace will be resolved.
I think we need to start talking about Star Wars. That's way
Yeah,
more
how far are
important.
we in? We're 30 minutes in. We're doing fine.
We're doing fine. We're doing fine.
Okay. Dexter Jetster tells him to go Camino. Before that, he meets Jocasta Nu, the librarian. Jocasta Nu, Gabe. What can you tell me about Jocasta Nu?
Is this a woman? I think.
Excuse me, Jocasta Nu is a very sophisticated character. Obi-Wan goes to her and says, oh yeah, so there should be a planet right over here. And she says, it's not our archive, so it doesn't exist.
She's just screaming into Obi-Wan's
For some reason, she's voiced by Nick Nolte.
And it's just
Obi-Wan! If a planet is not in our archive, it doesn't exist.
yeah. How foolish
Fuck
of
off,
her.
Master Jedi!
How foolish of her.
Yeah, he should be like, mate, like, there's been a breach. Like, obviously the planet should be there.
Why does Jester?
But Obi-Wan doesn't say that. Obi-Wan...
Why does Jester know what Camino is?
Dexter Jetster is a clone. He had his arms cloned twice. That's the only thing that makes sense. Obi-Wan goes to Master Yoda, the wisest of all the Jedi, who is training young children.
And Yoda literally laughs in his face.
You and I have been to a university, right?
Yes.
Did the head of our university teach us in our first year?
No.
Surely Yoda should be like the final teacher. Like, remember, we watched 36 Chambers of Shaolin recently, which is going to come up many times on the podcast.
You forgot to say that I saw you the 36 Chambers.
I'm
I've never
sorry.
seen it, and I love that film.
Yeah.
And now
Okay,
you love that film
I'll
too.
give you that. All right, let's try that again. Gabriel recently showed me a new
That's
film
right.
in payment for the thousands of new films I have shown Gabriel.
I've shown you
His
a few.
new film.
I've shown you a few, okay?
You've shown me. Oh, he showed me Creep Show.
I've shown you a few
Creep
more.
Show remake potentially. Oh no, it's the TV show. We were
They're
talking
making a
about
TV
that.
show, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't look good.
No, it looks like shit.
I know, but like
It's a shame. It looks like
it
total
looks like
shit.
Creep Show.
with
dude,
with
I-
proper effects. That's
I actually was going to buy you the other day for your birthday. Gabe's birthday's on October 16th. Everybody,
Nope.
18th.
Yep.
Got it. He is also a Libra.
Well,
Like-
I mean, we're
like-
recording. We're recording this 10 minutes before we upload. Never mind.
Oh yeah, your birthday will have happened by this
Yeah,
time.
yeah. So-
Gabe is also a Libra, much like Will Smith, star of Gemini Man, a film about cloning. What do you think of Gemini Man? Let's just talk about this now.
I think that we were gonna do an episode on it, and we're really excited to talk about it. And then we saw it, and we were so not interested in making an episode. That
I
we are not
arrived here
doing an
today
episode.
fully expecting to do a Gemini Man podcast, and both of us were like,
But there is nothing to talk about.
well, there's a bit to talk about. 60
No.
frames. So, no. The one thing we got to talk about. Okay.
Well, I'm not gonna. I was
gonna go
gonna
into
do
this.
the math.
Okay, have you done it?
No, because we decided not to do it.
I did the math yesterday when I was talking to somebody.
Did you actually do
Yeah,
the
yeah,
math?
I did the math. All right, ready. So Gemini Man is a film that was shot at 4K, 120 FPS 3D, a format that only 14 cinemas in the US can play it at.
None in
Gabriel and
Australia.
I saw it at 60 frames, 2K. And I found this out because Village Cinema, Event Cinemas George Street doesn't publicly acknowledge their specs, so I emailed the chief technician at Event Cinemas, and this is the response I got. Let me pull this up. I'm so proud. I showed this to my boss, and he was like, you're fired. He was like, I can't have somebody this nerdy working at my business.
Well, what a great filmmaker.
Yeah, you gotta care. Mate, Ang Lee cares about this stuff. I want to
Yeah.
care about it as
Yeah,
much as
right.
Ang Lee cares about it.
Ang Lee cares about
All right.
it.
So
Wouldn't it?
this is my email, word for word. Hi, team at George Street Cinema. I'm seeing Gemini Man tonight. I was just reading how Ang Lee shot the film at 4K 120 FPS, and very few cinemas in the US can even project at those specs. I know you are doing high frame rate for the screening I'm seeing tonight. I just wondered if you are one of the few cinemas in the world that is showing it at these specs, because that would be really neat. Best wishes, Byron. And then a few hours later, I get this reply. Hi Byron, thanks for your interest. I've checked with the production team and confirmed that we are showing it at 2K 60 FPS. Hope you enjoy the film. Please don't ever email us again. Regards,
So-
management.
So, George Street Event Cinemas, which is a very big cinema in Australia,
One of the biggest.
actually messaged Baron.
Yeah, they replied. Yeah.
The reply
It
to
takes-
his question
by
about
the way-
120 frames 4K.
It takes ages to find their email on their website. They really make it hard for you to find.
Yeah.
So it is.
And then the answer is so weird.
Yeah, well, I expected they'd answer. I just didn't think it would be right away. So I did the math yesterday when I was talking to Cam Elkins. I was talking to him just about the film because I was keen to see it. So we saw it at 3D, 60 frames, 2K.
Yeah.
Now, a standard film is shot at 24 frames.
Yeah.
And it is in 2D. So we have 2 times the Will Smith. We have almost more than double 24 frames at 60. So we have twice as much frames, twice as much Will Smith. Then we're seeing it.
Whoa, no, that's not the right math.
I know, but it's close. It's not 3 times, like we said. It's not. Let's say it's 2 times. It makes it easier if we just say 2 times for now.
That's not funny.
Oh, okay. It is funny. There's
No, it's
2
not.
times. There's double the Will Smith already, so you're getting double the value by seeing it at 60 frames. Like your money's already been earned from the moment you're halfway through the film. Then it's in 3D, so you have 2 images. It's stereoscopic, so that's another 2 wills. Then you're at double resolution of what you normally would have. So you're at 8 wills. And then if you saw it 120 PS at 4K, you would have 12 times the Will Smith you have in any other movie. Now, Gabe, given that we saw 12 times the Will Smith that you would see at any other movie, what'd you think of it?
Oh,
Was it worth
no.
12 times Will?
No, and you forgot.
Oh, there's 2 wills!
There's 2 wills.
There's 24 wills!
And then,
oh my god, it all
at
comes
the end
back.
of the film, spoilers, there's another wheel.
What? Are
So
you saying
there's
there are
3 wills.
36 wills? Oh my
No,
god!
48 wheels.
What?
48 times the wheel Smith that we could have gotten. And
Oh my god.
and we saw it in half the resolution and half the frame rates.
Yeah.
So it should have been 100.
We should have had half a discount, is what you're saying.
We should have had so many wheels. I can't even calculate it in my mind.
They should have charged us not $33 plus $1 for 3D glasses. Did you keep yours?
by accident.
I kept mine very deliberately because I'm never paying $1 for 3D glasses.
I'm not going to see a 3D movie again.
Oh, what are you talking about? Avatar 2 is due
Oh,
in
God.
2028. It's just announced a week ago. Avatar is in...
Yeah, that's right. I'm seeing that in 3D.
Oh, man, I can't wait.
Anyways,
Do you think Cameron's going to do glassesless 3D? Do you think he's going to pull it off?
Nope.
He might.
no.
Just might.
Can we go back into the movie?
No, I don't want to talk about...
We have to.
All right.
No, I was gonna make a joke.
Okay, cool. What's your...
No.
What's the movie we have to talk about? Gemini Man.
No, I was gonna. Just a random film.
My favourite film I saw this week is Hustlers. I just want to put it out
I
there.
don't.
Hustlers is good, guys. Go see it.
Yes.
If it's all still in theaters and you haven't seen it and you're thinking about it, go see it. Jennifer Lopez, she rules. Constance Wu, she's good. Kiki Palmer, she's good.
You sucker saw it without me, so.
Mate, it would have been very weird if we were the only 2 men in the theatre. I already felt weird and I was with my partner, so...
So we have to talk about the greatest character in this film.
Dexter Jettster.
The second greatest character.
Oh, Liam.
So Jorah is like, oh, can you please 10 of the Shades, something like that?
Liam! Lower the blind.
Lower the blind.
Well, Liam, what a great name.
And it's
for a
just
sci-fi
Liam.
universe.
His
Hey,
name
to be
is
fair,
Liam.
it's not far from Luke. Like, Luke's pretty...
But Luke is not very common,
it's pretty common.
is it?
I think it's fairly common.
But Luke has a K.
I
on
know
it.
at least 3 Lukes.
Luke has a K on it, which makes it like sci-fi.
What? Are you saying it should have been Luce? His name should have been Luce? Luce Skywalker?
That's really racist, you know that, don't you?
Why?
Because in Spanish?
Luce?
Yeah.
What's wrong with Luce? It's a name.
That's not.
Isn't it?
No.
I thought Luce was a name.
No.
Luce. There's a business called Luce, I'm pretty sure.
That's not a name.
Oh, come on. It's a name. Everything's a name.
No.
Luce. The English Luce name is taken from Norman language. So it's not racist because it's my people.
But no. I thought you meant like that.
Oh.
I thought that was.
What does that mean?
C-L-U-C.
Comes from South Africa. It's not your people either.
Oh, come on.
God, you, mate.
My people.
Stop appropriating South African culture.
My people went to them. Come on.
Luce is the name of a rapper from Naples, Italy.
Doesn't matter. Let's get back into Attack of the Clones.
No.
Yes.
All right. No, so let's skip all this. It doesn't matter. A little kid says, "Oh yeah, go to the planet. It's probably there."
No.
Somebody
I want to make a
erased
point
it.
about it.
All right.
Why do you want to do a podcast about talking films? You didn't want to talk about the
I
film.
want to talk about the good ones.
Okay, we have to get to it. Okay.
I was
but
just
the
gonna put
kid.
a robot here
This
instead of
really
me.
upsets me.
Yeah.
Okay, so the kid says something really smart.
Yeah.
Something so smart that Obi-Wan didn't think of it.
Obi-Wan and Yoda.
It's not that
didn't think
smart.
of it.
No, Yoda did think of it. He was waiting for the kids to say it.
Oh,
That's what I think.
That's a good read. Yeah.
Right? And the kid says, because someone deleted it from the whatever.
From the archive.
From the archives.
At which point...
But the kid has like the delivery that like he's written it out of something, which he is. But hell, if you're a kid and you're in a class and you say something smart, you're excited about it because you thought about it before everyone else. You're like, because someone deleted it from the
I got
archives, maybe? And then Yoda's
You're
be like,
impressing
oh,
Master
well done.
Yoda.
I
5
for
points
you.
to
5 points for Gryffindor. Right? Or something like that. And the
Yeah.
kid is like super happy or something. But no, instead it's like, because someone deleted it from the archives. And it's like, oh my god.
Oh, why didn't I think of that?
It's like, oh my god.
At which point, you know what you do? You know what you do if you're Obi-Wan? You go back to the library and you arrest Jocasta Nu.
No, yes, you do.
She clearly is the person who is in charge of the archives. She's clearly responsible for the breach. 100%. Like, who else erased it? It's never said in the movie that Dooku did it.
It's never said who does that.
No, it's never said who does. It's never said who pays for the clone army.
No, they said
No.
Tyrannus.
No, because he didn't.
Well, it must have been Palpatine then. Come on.
No, it was Darth Plagueis. You find out in Wikipedia.
No.
Yeah, 100%. It's Darth
No.
Plagueis who paid for it. Yeah, according to Wikipedia. Believe I'm right.
What?
I read that a long
But
time ago.
that Plagueis dies long before any of this happens. Palpatine was still young. I thought.
Yeah. He was young, which is like, 50 years ago. The army's taken a while to get built. There's like millions of them. Anyway, Anakin and Amidala arrive on Naboo. So Bibble's back. You guys all wanted him. He's back. My favorite character from
I
Phantom
hope
Menace.
he's back in Rise of Skywalker.
He's still so aggressive in. Oh my god! Imagine if they all appear as Force. We've got to do our predictions on Last Jedi, of course. But imagine if they all appeared as Force ghosts, like every single one of them, Jimmy Smits, all of them, and then Sio Bibble comes out and punches Palpatine in the face. That would be great. That would be so good.
No, it wouldn't.
So there's a new queen of Naboo who is played by
Who cares?
What's her name? No. I want to check.
An interesting character. Who cares?
She's like a Bollywood actress, I believe. Maybe not. Anyway, Anakin and Amidala do not like each other at this point in the movie.
No, Padme says something about Anakin says something offensive. No, not offensive, but he says something like. What does he say?
No, Amidala is. They're walking together, and then Amidala says, "Oh, Anakin's not a Jedi. He's just a Padawan." And he's
Yes, so he
like,
insults
"Excuse
her,
me, my lady."
even though it's the truth.
Yeah,
but
it's
then
the truth.
he's like offended by it, and then they fight in front of the queen. The queen doesn't say anything.
The Queen gives him some mad side eye.
The queen is
though.
like,
Yeah, the Queen is like,
Also,
excuse me.
Also, what the fuck is the point of having a queen that has terms? That's not a queen.
Yeah, like,
That's not a queen.
well, it's pretty funny because as we'll get to with their next scene, can we just skip the whole Camino bit?
No, they get to Camino. They talk to the clonist.
One of them played by Rena Owen, as I pointed out to you, which did not impress you.
Nope.
Rena Owen, amazing actress. Completely wasted playing a tall alien lady.
Yep.
One of the few
Next scene,
actresses who has worked with both Steven Spielberg and George Lucas.
Yeah.
I believe she's the only actress. She's one of 5 actors who's worked with both of them, but I think she's the only actress. Isn't that nuts? Natalie Portman must have done a Spielberg film at some point. She's definitely done something he's produced. Isn't Closer a DreamWorks production?
Something he's produced. That's not the same thing.
Yeah, that's true.
I think you were talking about directing.
I was.
Yeah.
How has Ewan not done a Spielberg film? Hey, Daniel... Oh, no, J.J. Abrams directed Force Awakens. I almost forgot.
Yeah.
I was going to say Daniel Craig has been directed by both Spielberg and Lucas.
Nah.
Can you imagine Daniel Craig on a Lucas set? Go fuck yourself, George. Oh man, I watched that video of him.
He would direct the whole film.
Yeah, he would. Oh man, I love Daniel Craig so much. I can't wait for Knives Out. I know you can't wait either.
I can definitely wait for it. I can
It looks
wait
good.
my whole life.
You love murder mysteries like that. I know you don't like Ryan Johnson. I think Ryan Johnson.
But it looks really like it's trying to be witty and like funny
it
it's
looks
trying
like
to be like really like
It
quirky.
is funny.
But
That
it's
line,
not funny.
CSI KFC, that's hilarious.
And what about the fact that the trailer says "fuck you"
Eat
to
shit.
the people that didn't
Eat
like?
shit.
Yeah, it
Eat
says
shit.
It says
Eat
"eat
shit."
shit" to the people that didn't like the Last Jedi.
Are you serious?
That's literally
Oh
what
my
that trailer's
god!
saying.
What the? You're making that up. That's not what it's saying at all. It's Chris Evans just being funny and being like, I hate
But it's
my
not
family.
funny.
It is funny.
It's funny to
He's
say.
telling Jamie Lee Curtis to eat shit. It's funny.
Why is that funny?
Because they were like, you're an asshole. And he's like, yeah, you know what? Eat shit. Eat shit. Eat shit. Eat shit. It's great. It's good. I like it. I think it's going to be really fun. I'm really excited. Mate, as I said to you...
Yeah, there's knives everywhere.
Mate, as I said to you, I don't care what he's making, as long as it's not another Star Wars film. Like, I love Ryan Johnson as a director. I think he's a really good director.
I don't think so.
I think as a writer, he has been tasked with some really ambitious, large projects that haven't entirely worked.
Yeah, can we talk about like Attack of the Clones?
Okay, the
We're not even
Caminos.
halfway through.
So everybody says that they love, you in fact said that you love the Obi-Wan stuff because it's like a detective movie, right? You
Oh,
said
I
that.
changed
You
my
said,
mind.
yeah,
I changed my
right.
mind.
Obi-Wan, if this was a detective
He's such
movie,
a fucking dumbass.
he is so dumb. He arrives at the Camino's planet and he's like, oh, there's an army?
There's an army.
And they're like, oh yeah, it was paid for by this guy. And then he's like, oh, that guy's dead. And they're like, oh, sorry to hear that. Anyway, would you like to see the army? He's like, no, wait a second. Let me see the receipts. Let me see what dates they were. Let me see who paid for this. I want to know who
funds.
paid for this. Why have you made 1 million of these things for the last 10 years and you've
Billion.
never once checked to see if we're happy?
And then they say that there is a bounty hunter in there.
Oh yeah, that just happens to
They're
be it.
cloned by a bounty hunter. It's like, but there is a culprit, fucking Obi-Wan. Just go and get him.
Yeah, so Obi-Wan goes to Jango Fett's room, and they have a conversation. We'll get back to that scene.
Oh,
and they
God.
stare immediately. Obi-Wan is standing next to Jango. First of all, we meet Boba Fett, young Boba Fett, because apparently that was important.
Very important. Boba Fett the whole time was a clone.
Yeah, it doesn't really help his character, does it? Also, why are they using Jango Fett? It's never said in the film.
Nope.
It's never said at all.
Don't ask me.
We see him kill one Jedi in the film.
A really bad Jedi.
Yeah, he gets killed by like a dinosaur Jedi.
He kills a dinosaur.
I'm not
Jedi.
saying an old Jedi, I'm saying a Jedi that looks like a dinosaur.
Yes.
He looks like a Pachycephalus or whatever those ones are with the weird.
Yeah, and he just
leg
dies.
legs.
He sucked.
Yeah, he sucks.
How did he become a Jedi? He sucked. Was he a Padawan?
Well, probably because he wasn't allowed to love.
Oh.
They're all suppressed emotionally.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah.
the problem. That's what George is arguing. A director who is famous for the lack of emotion in his later films is arguing that having no emotion is bad.
Yeah, that's right.
Pretty interesting. Anyway, Obi-Wan is talking to Jango Fett.
He's literally looking at the armor.
The armor is wide open in the cupboard.
When Jango Fett walks away, Obi-Wan's still looking at it.
He knows it's there. He knows this is the guy.
Why doesn't he just say, you're under arrest?
No, even better. In The Phantom Menace, we see that Qui-Gon Jinn can knock people out just by touching them.
Oh yeah, that's right. He does that
Obi-Wan
with Jar
even
Jar.
comments, you overdid it. Obi-Wan knows this technique. Obi-Wan should immediately just be like, oop, Vulcan mind pinch, pass him out.
Oops.
Oh, kidnap you, right then and there.
Yep.
For some reason, he goes and talks to the other Jedi.
He didn't want to traumatize the kid, that's why.
We'll just knock the kid out. First.
But then,
Easy.
then you give Django
The kid's a clone. He's not even like... I don't want to say
Come
clones aren't
on.
real people, but like...
Come on.
Oh, come on! It's not like George is afraid of child murder. We're going to see it in the next movie.
I was setting up a joke about it.
Child murder?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, wait, sorry. I didn't say that last bit. Oh, come on. Yeah, Gabe, what are you trying to say?
Well, all I'm trying to say is that George Lucas wouldn't want to hurt a child, right?
No, of course not.
Of course not.
Oh, man.
Not in a million years.
At the same
Unless this film is received really poorly. I don't know.
Yeah, and George is like, hate all children now. The first
Not
one
even kids like this film.
Kill them
I'm
all.
gonna murder all of them.
Do you think Order 66 is just him wishing he could murder the entire audience? Oh, mate. I love George Lucas. Let's talk about Naboo.
We go back to the movie. The only scene
You talk about this.
that
I don't
has
talk about it.
no
Green
blue
screen.
No green screen. Blue screen. Green
It has
screen.
no
Blue
visual
screen.
effects.
No visual effects except for an island in the background. So there's an island in the background that's CG for some reason.
Anakin and Padme at this point have had maybe 4 scenes together.
Yeah, and it's always been like flirting.
And Anakin tries to kiss her here, and it's very rapey, and she looks very uncomfortable.
Well, before he tries to kiss her, he's touching her the whole time.
He is rubbing his
In the
hands across
back,
her exposed
on
back.
her hand.
She
It's like,
doesn't.
Jesus
Now,
fucking
to be
Christ.
fair, to Anakin, she doesn't say no, but it's pretty obvious from anybody who understands human body language, she's not really into it.
She's just like smiling, like afraid of him.
I wouldn't interpret her as being like, this is the right moment to kiss.
Nah.
They haven't been having a romantic discussion.
No, maybe Anakin is autistic or something.
Oh my god, you can't say that. Oh my god, okay, moving on.
Yeah, you can cut that out.
Oh no, I'm leaving that in. I'm leaving that in. This is, oh my god. So
I just saw the last episode of South Park, and it was on my mind.
now we come to
We don't need to
my.
talk about that. We can just keep going.
Yeah, no, I want to talk about it. So there's a scene with Anakin and Padme sitting in long grass talking about politics, and Anakin's like, "Oh yeah, I think one person should control the entire universe," and she's like, "That's fucking weird.
That's really weird.
I don't believe in that system. There should always be a democracy. There's no way that would ever work."
She was a queen.
Was a queen.
She had terms.
She had terms, yeah. She had
But
to give
she
up
was
her
a
power.
queen.
She was a queen. She was the sole ruler. That's exactly what she was. It's very weird.
Were you saying that this movies don't make sense? Impossible.
But what's even weirder is that as the queen, she was able to also act as a senator in Phantom Menace. She went to represent her planet in the Republic.
Maybe they rethought all their politics.
Well, no, because of course Palpatine is the senator for Naboo. Palpatine becomes the chancellor, so she then becomes the senator. But
No, the queen leaves. Oh no, yeah, it makes sense.
yeah.
Makes sense.
now there is one moment in this conversation that I think Hayden Christensen actually delivers a line well.
Oh yeah, it's really funny.
It's actually really good, and I think it was one of the moments they came up with together, where he says, where Padme's like, "You really don't like politicians, do you, Anakin?" And he's like, "I like 2 or 3 of them, but one of them I'm not so sure about." And for a brief second, you get to
That's
see
pretty
him being funny, and you get to see him being like happy, and you get to see him being like a scoundrel.
It's pretty funny.
It's quite similar to a Harrison Ford as Han Solo comment.
Yeah, I was actually pretty funny.
It was good, right? Like, I had
Yeah.
to go back and show it to you, and then you're
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, it's good. Imagine if that was his attitude through the whole film instead of just mopey. Wouldn't it
Yeah.
be good?
Yeah, it could have been good.
Hayden could have been great.
You see, so there is things in dialogue and
That hint
bits
at a
in this
better
film
movie.
that I like better than Phantom Menace.
All
All I
right,
like in
so-
Phantom Menace are visuals.
Boba Fett fight.
Oh, I like the idea of the fight more than the fight itself.
Right before the fight, of course, Obi-Wan talks to the Jedi, and they finally admit that maybe they can't use the Force anymore.
No,
And they
can't-
completely glide over it.
Yeah.
Our ability to use the Force has been diminished.
Yeah.
Not
in the
our ability
but
to
in
read
the previous
minds.
scene, Anakin could use the Force to lift things.
Yeah.
And then after that scene, Anakin
On
Obi-Wan,
Coruscant, they've already used the Force.
and then
several times.
Obi-Wan, it's like using the Force to when he's fighting Django. So it's like it's
Yoda
not the
uses the
use of the
Force.
Force.
Yoda uses
Is
the
the
Force
use
a
of,
lot
like-
when he fights Dooku.
It's the use of like detecting shit, I guess.
Yeah, but they do it on Coruscant at the beginning of this movie.
Yeah. So
Well, you know what it is. The worms don't have the Force.
that makes it even worse.
Yeah.
That
It
makes
makes,
it worse.
it makes no sense. It's a very stupid idea. All it had to be, literally all it had to be, was that Palpatine could hide from the Force.
That's what I mean. Is that
There could have been one line.
They're getting old. They don't want to meet the.
Dooku just needs to say to him in this film, or even like in Phantom Menace,
You'll
he just
never
needs to say,
see him.
he just Darth Maul just needs to be like to him, "Messiah, won't they sense that you're on the planet?" He's like, "I am invisible to their senses."
Or when he's talking to Obi-Wan, he says, "Oh, you'll never see who he is."
He is elusive.
Elusive.
I wish I could do Christopher Lee. He was one of the few, like he was so old, of course, but he was one of the few actors where when I learned that he died, I actually was like, "Oh damn, you were so good." Like I was happy. He had the greatest career. But like,
I think there's a cut-off point that is the moment like, how old was he?
he was 90. I think he was 98.
Yeah, 98. It's like
Yeah, he had an amazing
man,
life.
It's kind of like
He fought in World War II
it's
with
like
Ian. with Ian Fleming and J.R. Tolkien.
It's like Stanley died when he was 89.
Yeah, he had a great life.
And it's like, yeah.
Also, Stan Lee, of
It's a
course,
good-
was...
It's a good moment to, like, you know.
He was
pass.
93 years old, yeah.
So it's a good moment to pass.
Yeah.
It's you of age.
I mean, nobody has had a...
The problem was someone like Leia.
Oh, that
Carrie
was
Fisher.
devastating.
That is really devastating because she was
Yeah.
60.
She was 60, and also she was in the middle of, finishing her iconic role.
Yeah. So,
And that thing that Kathleen Kennedy said about how the first film was Han's film, the second film was Luke's film, and the third was going to be Leia's, and now it's going to be Palpatine's.
yeah.
Oh, man.
But
Guys, if you're not detecting it, we're not very excited for the Rise of Skywalker. And part of the reason why we're doing this podcast is because we want to get a sense of why this franchise was at one time really important to us. Like, I think we'd both argue that this is one of the most important bits of pop culture that's affected us in our lives. Definitely for me.
yeah, probably.
I mean, I'm a straight white man. Like, Star Wars is all I've got.
Not anymore.
And you've got Zorro.
That's really racist.
I know.
That's actually genuinely racist.
I was trying to think of like a Latin American hero.
I'm not Latin American though.
Yeah, he is. Zorro.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, you are.
No.
Yeah.
No. What are you talking about?
You invaded Latin America.
My ancestors, not
Your ancestors invaded. It's your fault.
No.
Just like it's my ancestors' fault for everything that happened in the world.
No. The other way around. We wouldn't have Star Wars if it wasn't for our ancestors. So.
Yeah, if it wasn't for your ancestors destroying all of the colonies of Machu Picchu.
But I'm
and
also
Peru.
half Australian, so.
Yeah, so you've got both of the worst
Both of the worst
colonizers.
colonizers,
You've got
yeah.
English and Spanish. You're like literally the worst
Yeah.
person on earth.
Fuck yeah.
You're literally Hitler.
Don't say that.
Don't say that.
Don't
Why?
get into politics.
We've already talked about Trump's impeachment. Like how? else
No,
would we
no.
get?
I said I didn't know who Trump was. That was my.
No. Yeah, sorry. We
Fine.
that traitorous man who was disguised as the president.
I don't know
Anyway.
anything about politics. So I don't know what you're talking about. Let's get back to Star Wars.
I don't want to.
I have so much to say about Star
All
Wars.
right, keep going.
We are now on 37 minutes in, and we are
No,
like
excuse me. An hour and 36 minutes in.
36.
An hour 36.
That's what I said. I said an hour.
You did? Oh, I didn't think you did.
Yeah, I did.
Panikin has a panicked dream about his mother.
Well, you mean Batman, right?
No, Panikin has the dream.
Yeah, okay. So we had
Anad May.
so we have the Django and Obi-Wan fight,
Oh, I was gonna skip it.
which I was like, I said earlier that it was one of my favorite fights, and then I saw it again. I'm like, maybe not.
Yeah, watching these films is
It's
like
like-
I remember these good moments, and then you're like, oh wow, they're not
Wait,
that
no,
good.
they're not.
Yeah.
But like, I like the idea of like a guy with a pistol fighting a Jedi.
Yeah, it's like the best part of Rogue One.
What do you mean, the massacre?
Yeah,
That's not a fight. That's a
yeah, it's
massacre.
great. No, there's another one I'm trying to think of. There is another.
But
There's kind of one in Solo.
No, you have Kylo Ren fighting Finn, who's not a Jedi. He's just a guy, and he gets
And you
beaten
have you have
instantly.
Poe trying to take a shot at Kylo as well, and he
Yeah.
gets instantly fucked up.
Instantly fucked.
I don't know why Poe runs into the middle of nowhere. We'll get to it anyway. Obi-Wan tracks. They go back to Tatooine.
And we have
Anakin and
we have
Padme
a
go back to
great
Tatooine.
moment in they go back to Tatooine because of the dream.
The dream, yeah,
Yeah. So we have a great moment. I think this is one of the best moments in the film
yeah,
when Anakin meets Watto again,
yeah. Watto,
and Watto doesn't recognize
Watto
Anakin.
though,
No,
Watto though.
no, don't do that. Okay, and then Anakin has a has a conversation with Watto.
They do a
Watto
fight.
takes like
Your Jedi mind trick to work on me.
he takes half a minute to realize who Anakin is.
Yeah, it's great.
And
he's
it's pretty
sad.
great.
And,
And
he's like poor.
Yeah, and he's poor and like
He's got a beard.
It makes you think of what's happened to him since Phantom Menace.
Yeah. It's the one
It's
part
like-
that feels like a good sequel to Phantom Menace.
Yeah, and it's like it's genuinely interesting. What happened to this guy since
Yeah.
Anakin left?
He sold Anakin's mom.
He sold Anakin's mom to a guy that married her, so he literally bought his wife. And then we get to Baron's favorite scene again. The asteroid scene at the end, in the middle of the film.
Yeah, the asteroid scene that everybody loves to this day for
Which is
no
fucking
reason.
shit.
It's terrible.
It's terrible.
It's a terrible action
There's
scene.
no tension. There's nothing.
There's nothing. Like, there's that sound effect.
There's
that
sound
people love
effects.
of the mind. But guess what? Ben Burt knows what he's doing. And guess what? When he does a good film like Wall-E, it works.
Do you know which film has something very similar to that?
What?
Last Jedi.
No. Like we're gonna talk about
We'll
this.
talk
but-
about it. We'll
but
talk about
it's
it.
not-
We'll talk about it.
It's not as bad as this, dude. Seriously.
I
This
disagree.
is the worst. Back on Tatooine, the Obi-Wan stuff really... Obi-Wan does not matter from this point in the film. Obi-Wan doesn't do anything for the rest of the film.
Well, he gets kidnapped.
Yeah. What does he do as a character for the rest of the film?
He causes the war to happen.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah.
How?
They try to rescue him. Because he's an idiot.
Yeah, but they were going to... The army was already going to go
the
there.
war happens because of him.
Yeah, but the Jedi were already on their way. Windu says, like, we're on our way. And remember how when Windu
But only
says
because
that,
Obi-Wan says something.
Padme and Anakin are like, oh, we got to go. We'll get there way quicker. They arrive, like, maybe 6 hours before the Jedi.
6 hours? Like 20 minutes.
It's night when they arrive, and then
Okay.
and then it's day when they're going to get executed. Back on Tatooine.
We get a really cool scene. Not Uncle Owen and stuff. That's all.
I was going to say, where's the CGI in these? And then I remember the 3PO is CGI.
Yeah, that's right. There's no blue milk. There's no blue milk.
No, it's iced tea. It's
It's
literally
iced tea.
just Lipton iced tea that they poured into cups. Because George was trying to save money. Yeah.
And then Anakin goes and save his mother.
Who has been kidnapped by the
and
Tusken
there's,
Raiders.
and there's a cool scene in there. It's a good.
Yeah, the
montage.
one bit that has Anakin. No, it doesn't have Anakin doing anything. It has them. It has Anakin and Padme in silhouette, and then he says, "I have to go. I have to save her." And Padme hugs him, and that, for my opinion, should have been the first time they touched in the film. The kiss earlier completely doesn't work.
Yeah.
The idea that Padme would like grab him and hug him in this moment makes a lot of sense. Anakin goes and John Williams plays Duel of the Fates, and it's so amazing. And Anakin is racing by the twin suns. It's an iconic moment of these movies.
And there's one
and
of
I
the-
completely had forgotten about it.
One of the most beautiful shots in the film.
That holds for a good while.
Yeah, which is the silhouette of Anakin talking to a Jawa.
With what looks like a real sky scene behind them that is moving.
And then
It's beautiful.
And then the background, the ships.
You've got the sandcrawlers.
the Sandcrawlers in the background look pretty damn good.
Yeah.
They look fucking great.
Yeah, it looks like a good movie.
Yeah, and then it cuts to an awful shot.
Of Geonosis, which looks
Geonosis.
like Tatooine.
Which looks like Tatooine, like I
Yeah, it's
mentioned earlier.
impossible to tell. And then our villain is introduced an hour and 16 minutes in.
That's
Okay, let's just skip to when... Okay, Anakin finds his mother. She
and dies on his hand.
Well,
It's like-
I would argue also that the imagery of the way Shmi is tied up, it's meant to be implied that she has been abused by the Raiders.
everyone says that, but I don't see why the Sand people would be interested in,
I don't
abusing her.
know. It's like... But
Like, I don't get
my
it.
point
I
is,
don't
why,
see it.
why couldn't she just be dead?
She should have been
could-
just dead. Yeah.
Yeah, why couldn't it have been something like when Luke sees Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru and their house is just burned?
Well,
and
you,
Luke
you,
goes there
you're
and
saying that the movie went too far in a few places?
No, I'm not saying that. I don't think I'd ever say that. It's George's movie. It's his vision. He can do whatever he wants. Look, we're going to get to it when we talk about Disney, but I much prefer the idea of a sole creator having the ability to try new things with their movies than everything just has to be pulled from a formula that's worked before. Like, the stuff that he tries that's new in the movies that works is great. The problem is that almost none of it works.
It works for 5 seconds.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to say it's better because it worked for 5 seconds.
Anakin's mum dies and he murders women and children.
And the women and the children too.
Yeah. Then Mace Windu and Yoda. Yeah. We're so excited about this movie.
Anakin admits to Padme that he murdered everyone.
A scene that could have easily been handled better with Anakin not wanting to talk about his grief.
Yeah.
And Padme trying to get him to admit that he's hurt and that
Yeah.
he's sad and
That's
that it's
it.
okay for him to cry.
That's all you need.
It's an easy scene. It's a very simple scene to act.
Yeah.
It's a really simple scene to stage. And it's a really effective scene because every single one of us, especially men who have experienced a trauma in our lives, we know what it's like when you feel like you can't express that emotion. And the Jedi are telling him not to express the emotion, and all Padme should do is go up, hug him from behind and say, there's nothing you could have done. It's okay. I'm here for you. And he should just fucking cry. Like, just let him cry. Let him be sad. Instead, he becomes insane.
Oh, he's just screaming.
He just starts
about
screaming about how he should be all-powerful. And I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to show why he'll fall in the next movie. But save that for the next movie. Save it. Have this movie just be about them falling in love. The whole movie was marketed around that they were going to fall in love. Remember what the tagline on the poster said?
Nope.
A Jedi will not know fear, nor anger, nor love. And it's just them facing away from each other.
Oh.
Yeah. The whole movie is about them falling in love. So why is this scene in here? Anyway. Anakin and Padme decide to go and save Obi-Wan.
Mace Windu tells Anakin to stay put on the planet and not do anything, right? And then we have another good writing moment where Padme's like, "Oh, we have to go and save Obi-Wan," and then Anakin says, "No, I can't go anywhere. I'm here to protect you." And she says, "Well, I go there by myself, and you have to protect me." And he smiles like, "Yeah, that's right."
Yeah, he acknowledges it. He's like,
that's pretty.
Yes, my lady. Yeah.
That's like something that Han would have done, right? That's a good moment in the film.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then we have the moment where Jar Jar dooms everyone.
Oh, is that right after?
Yeah,
Right,
after.
right. Jar Jar votes for...
This is a crisis!
Yes. Sorry, we missed the most important line of the whole movie. This is a crisis.
Yes. And they need a senator to maybe...
Give the Chancellor emergency powers.
Emergency powers,
You
right?
know, worked for Hitler.
Yeah.
If only Senator Amidala
Amidala
were
were
here.
here.
What is the name of that actor? He's the actor who plays Masameda. He's so good.
You should have known this name already.
Yeah, I did. I've looked him up so many times. David Bowers. David Bowers is the voice of Masameda. And
This is
I
a crisis.
was very tempted to try and get him on the podcast.
This is a crisis.
This is a crisis. The Senator must give emergency powers to the Supreme Chancellor.
And then we get to your favorite scene.
Yeah, my favourite scene of the prequels.
Your actual favorite scene. No.
Well, it's my favourite scene only because Christopher Lee is doing such a good job. Ewan McGregor sucks in this scene. Both as what's written and the actor. I think Ewan McGregor is awful in this scene.
Well, he's obviously in a really uncomfortable position.
He probably isn't on set.
Yeah, but the way his body is real, so he must be...
No, but he probably wasn't filmed with Christopher Lee.
That explains why he's not acting properly.
Christopher Lee just kills it. This is the one scene that tries to explain what's going on in these movies.
And it was
and Christopher Lee flat out tells him, what if I told you there was a Dark Lord in charge of the Republic? And Obi-Wan's like, no, that's impossible. The Jedi would have sensed it. He's like, no, shut up. Listen to me.
Impossible.
And yeah, it should be like that, right? And then he says, and then Dooku says, no, shut up, Obi-Wan. Listen to me. I'm telling you that a Sith Lord is in charge of the Senate. He's like, Obi-Wan's like, no. The Jedi would definitely know. No, Obi-Wan. I'm going to tell you again, but slower. The Jedi have been fooled by a Sith Lord who, at this moment, is in charge of the Republic. You might say a supreme leader. Then, like, oh, you mean Palpatine's a Sith Lord?
Then he cuts to Palpatine laughing like, and then he cuts back to the scene. That's literally the scene, right?
Yeah, that's literally what happens. Palpatine walks in, and everyone's like, no!
And then it's a ton.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh
No,
my
that's
God.
exactly what happens in the film.
Oh, man, like, it's so silly. Jar Jar Binks dooms the entire galaxy.
Jar Jar dooms the entire universe.
It's great.
And
good.
it's great because everyone just agrees instantly. There's no voting, again, there's no voting or anything. They just agree with it. It's great.
Anakin and Padme get captured and taken to a coliseum next to
You forgot the
Obi-Wan.
best action scene in the whole film.
Oh, no, I didn't. And
It's the worst action scene in the prequels.
the film that they shot in 4 hours. They shot it before lunch. That's what they brag about on the behind the scenes.
That's a scene. That's the worst scene in the prequels, probably. The worst action scene.
Yeah, absolutely. It's by far the worst action scene.
Yeah.
And then we get to the set piece of the whole movie, the Colosseum scene.
I wonder where he got it from.
And we have the Reek, the Akli, and the dog, which name I don't know.
You mean the boring one?
Yeah, the boring one.
And they fight it.
Can you ever fight a Reek in any of the Star Wars games? Because you fight the
Wait,
Akli
which is the
in
Reek?
Battlefront. The Reek is the big red one that
Well,
Anakin rides.
in the Lego game, you can control it.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
I've got to play Lego Star Wars.
And they just then oh yeah, Raichu tries to never mind.
No, let's not get. We could go through so many different details. We
it's
noticed
almost 2 hours already.
We noticed watching this film this time, and we've watched this film so many times before. R2D2 repeatedly tries to murder C3PO.
Like he knew he was
He knew he was gonna. Also, I just want to point out something. C3PO belongs to the Lars family,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
C3PO is their property. Anakin built him,
but it's their
but
property.
it's their property. It's
They
owned
must
by
have
them.
bought it when they bought
Shmi Skywalker
Right.
and Watto probably paid for him.
Yeah.
That's true, yeah. So Shmi owns him, and then obviously the Lars family owns him.
And then he just
And they
steals it.
fixed him. They finished him.
They
before
finished him off, yeah.
Anakin didn't finish him.
Yeah.
It's their droid.
And then they stole it.
They steal him.
Anakin just
They actually
steals
from-
C-3PO.
He doesn't just steal him. He steals him from a family, the head of which is in a wheelchair. He steals a droid from a disabled man.
It's pretty funny.
It's pretty weird, and it goes by, and you don't think about it. But like, you see, 3PO is 100% a stolen droid from like a, and it's so weird that 3PO is owned by that same family again 20 years later. And at no point
Oh,
is,
yeah,
at no point is Owen Lars like, oh wait, you were stolen from
Well,
us
I
like
know
20
you.
years ago.
I know you.
I know
Wait
you.
A second.
You're gold now, but like I know you.
Anyway.
C3PO? That sounds familiar.
Anyways, let's get back to the Colosseum.
Yeah, it sucks.
It's kind of boring.
It's fun to see them work without lightsabers though.
Yeah, but still boring.
So I want to ask you, if you're a Geonosian and you've had a hard day at work and you just want to go to the Colosseum and see some executions, would you want to see an execution that would be over in like 10 seconds if the people weren't Jedi?
No, they should have gotten like really bad weapons.
Yeah.
To fight with.
Yeah, it should have been the scene in Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah, and maybe they changed it to make it really useful or something.
It should have been the ending of Spartacus. They should have made Obi-Wan and Anakin fight each other. Or else they'll kill Padme. Dude, it would have been good.
The two of them fight Batman. And
Yeah.
They just win.
What?
They just win instantly.
He
just kill her instantly.
No, you know what I mean though? Something.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah.
Would have been good.
And then
Should
Mace
be.
Windu just
Shows up.
shows up with the 100 Jedi.
Yep. And then
5 minutes later, they all die.
No, this is what happens within like 5 minutes of screen time. Mace Windu shows up with 100 Jedi. The Separatists show up with 1,000 droids. And then Yoda shows up with 1,000 clones. It's
10,000
like boom, boom,
Jedi
boom.
clones. Yeah.
You know the thing that rules about Lord of the Rings? All the armies are introduced kind of on their own.
Yeah.
You get time to see them as armies.
You get to like know them, what they look
Yeah,
like.
it would be like in the Battle of Pelennor Fields if you started the battle with the orcs fighting the humans, and then a minute or two into it, the army of Rohan shows up,
Starts
and then
scratching to them.
2 minutes later, the merchants from the east with the elephants come in, and then literally a minute later, the army of the dead comes in. You've got no time.
Nah.
You've got no time to see like what's interesting about the battle.
Yeah.
And one thing you and I were talking about is that George Lucas took a very hands-off approach with the Battle of Geonosis. Like in the script, it literally just reads, a battle commences. And ILM auditioned shots for him where they were using very early digital animatics, and they were doing things like filming themselves on the back lot, just in front of like makeshift sets, and just doing little digital kind of animatics. And they would show George Lucas the shots, and he would be like, "Yeah, that looks good. That looks good." Like he took a very hands-off approach, and some of the most visually interesting shots of the whole movie happen in this sequence. It's kind of weird to see the difference from the rest of the film. So all the Jedi fight, Jango Fett dies.
Yeah, at one point is that Jango Fett is defeated by it's killed
By Samuel L. Jackson.
Mace Windu.
Yeah.
And it's a bit like it should have been Obi-Wan, but I reckon George Lucas wanted, because Obi-Wan has to fight the Akle or whatever it's called.
Yeah, I
already.
guess he has to fight it.
So he wanted to have each Jedi a different thing to do in the
Yeah,
fight.
but why doesn't Mace Windu just kill the Akli?
Because if in fact, it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't matter. We didn't make the film. It's George's choices. We're just
Bad
reacting to
choices.
them. We're acting to them. We're just reacting to them.
Yeah.
Dooku escapes. The war has completely
Somehow-
broken out. Somehow he escapes.
He escapes. Then the huge battle happens, and then Obi-Wan and Anakin go and fight Mace Windu, and it's
No, fight Count Dooku.
Yeah, I said,
Yeah.
this is what happens when you stop
Anakin-
2 hours over this stupid film.
There is no moment in the fight where they fight together. Anakin is immediately electrocuted. Obi-Wan gets his leg sliced very tenderly and delicately, and his arm sliced very tenderly and delicately.
I think originally in the script, he cuts his leg off, and then
they were like, "Oh
and then,
no!"
And then George thought, "Oh wait, his legs is fine."
You don't know. You never see his legs in A New Hope.
Yeah, but
It could have been a
there would have
robot.
been a point of it.
Nah.
Yes.
Nah. Just
Yes.
this is a cyborg.
No.
He regrows them, but Anakin can't. Anakin has to have a robot arm.
Yeah.
Oh, Anakin! I used up all of the tissue transplant.
And
Why
yeah,
not just
it's
have
pretty
Why not
boring.
just have Dooku get away? Why not have that be the end of the movie?
because they have to have a fight. It's
But
Star
he gets
Wars.
away anyway. Yeah, I know. Yoda shows up.
Yeah.
I have seen reactions. I actually remember when I saw it in theaters, people went apeshit for this scene. People thought it was the coolest thing ever. And
I still think it's dumb.
yeah, it's not. It's like Yoda's got to flip around. He's like using up all his energy. Also, Yoda is weirdly war hungry at this point in the movie. And immediately after this scene, you're going to see Yoda be like, "This was not a victory. Like, we're at war now. Do you understand how bad this is?" Before that, Yoda's like, "Oh yeah,
Oh, good, very good. You defeated
Concentrate fire at the innocent civilians.
Well,
Use white phosphorus.
man, all of those children.
This is the first Star Wars film produced after 9/11. And this is on the verge of the Iraq War. And you can definitely sense that Lucas is tapping into a bit of that with the final scene.
Oh, the best, a great scene in the film.
Amazing scene.
Pretty good scene where Palpatine doesn't look like Dick Cheney at all.
No, he doesn't look anything like Dick Cheney. For legal purposes, he looks nothing like Dick Cheney.
Yes.
If you just
We
threw
don't,
some
we don't
glasses
talk,
on
we
there...
don't talk about politics in this.
No, we don't talk about politics at all. Ever.
No.
Especially right-wing politics, because they're great. The water's great. Everything's
I don't
going
even know
fine.
which one is which.
I don't know which one's which either. Liberal over here is left-wing over there. Oh, what? Makes no sense. Anyway, Dooku meets with
Actually,
Palpatine. At some point in the movie, Dooku says, "How could the Republic have found an army so quickly?" I don't know, because your boss organized it? Like, we know that you know about the planet because your bounty hunter stayed there. What?
stupid.
The guy who you employed is literally the surrogate for all of these clones. You know these clones exist. You
He
didn't
must be lying, right?
He must be lying. But why is he lying to all of the villains? There's no reason.
I don't know.
It makes no sense. Okay,
I'm getting tired.
do you think this is better than Phantom still?
Yes, 100%.
I don't. I really don't.
Why?
Because this film is trying to be... Phantom is just trying to be a space adventure, and it kind of fails at that.
fails
This
completely.
movie is trying to be a timeless love story. Which do you think fails worse?
I don't care about the idea of what the movie is meant to be.
It's not the idea, it's what the movie is. The movie
But
is about a love
I
story.
care about...
It ends with them getting married.
But I care about how the movie is actually made.
yeah.
And I think Phantom Menace is a
Yeah, I'm
completely
saying
nonsensical
this is a
film.
terrible love story.
Yes, and I'm saying Phantom Menace has no story.
It does have a story, it's just very weirdly told.
Yeah, this has a story that is told properly.
Oh, I'd argue that.
It's poorly made.
Alright, then tell me. Who paid for the clones? How did they pay for it? When did they
Palpatine paid for them.
When?
Years ago, before he became a senator.
With what?
He's a villain. They're like, what?
Yeah,
Why are you asking me with what?
I don't
Come
know.
on.
None of this stuff is explained. His relationship with Dooku is only explained at the very end.
But I know what's going on with Obi-Wan. He's trying to find out, even though Obi-Wan is stupid, I know
Yeah.
what's going on with him. I know that Anakin and Padme are gonna fall in love.
Yeah.
It's really poorly done, but I know
Yeah.
what's going on. Then I know why Obi-Wan and... I know why Padme and Anakin go to Geonosis.
Yep.
I know what's going on in the battle at the end. Count
I get-
Count Dooku has a conversation with Obi-Wan, so they have feeling towards each other.
Definitely wasn't a reshoot.
They care about, like, they know who each other is.
Yep.
So the fight at the end has a bit more sense. Darth Maul.
A slightly bit more sense.
Do I have to say anything about Darth Maul? How shit that character is?
What are you talking about? The greatest character of all time in Star
Yeah,
Wars.
he was like,
so much
"Ah!"
depth.
He was like,
Why
one
do
shot.
people love Darth Maul so much? It's just the makeup, right?
It's the music.
And the lightsaber.
It's the music.
It's the music. It's all the music.
It's just the music.
That's the only reason the speeder scene in this movie is so good, is because of the music.
Yeah, and then you have a really good shot.
Yeah,
the
that one.
really good shot.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, that was Attack of the
still think
Clones.
it's right.
I'm really sorry, guys. Like, I really, really struggle to get excited about this movie. I would have much rather talked about Gemini Man for 20 minutes. But, Gemini Man, what's your final verdict? I gave it a 5 on IMDb.
3 out of 10.
It was at a 5.2, and I think that's high.
3 out of 10.
Out of 10? No!
Yes.
Like, Faces of Death is a 3 out
okay,
of 10.
4 out of 10. It's below average. Definitely below average. What would you rate Clone?
Clones, I think I rated a 6.
Attack of the Clones?
Yeah. Gave it a 6.
6?
Gave it a 6, yeah.
I give it a 3.
Look, these are the worst Star Wars films. They are so far from the worst films ever made.
No!
They are. Are you joking?
Hollywood made. Hollywood made. I'm talking about the room and shit like
Well, they're not made in Hollywood.
But like, I mean, high production films.
No, there's worse high production films.
Like what?
Many.
What?
Batman vs Superman is worse than these.
Yeah, that's a 1. That's
Justice
literally
League
a
is
1.
worse than these.
That's a 1.
It's not 1.
Yes.
No, there are. Gabe, I've seen the Black Hole from 2006. I've seen Birdemic. I've seen.
But those are fucking B-graded movies. Come on.
Yeah, but
C-graded movies.
yeah, they're bad. What do you rate those then?
They're
Also
C-graded
one.
movies.
They are not the same. They're not the same thing. This is why I don't use numbers. This is why my review system is
I like numbers.
I know you do,
really-
but then you can't give one a 1.
Why?
And then be like,
Why? Why can't I?
what do you rate Phantom?
It's probably,
One!
It's probably a
One!
3. It's probably a 3 still.
And you said Attack of the Clones is a 1.
No, I said Attack of the Clones is 3.
3 is way too harsh. 3 out of 5, maybe.
No, what?
3.
You're actually saying that the movie's good. 5, it's average.
I'm saying
6 is good. 7 is pretty good. 8 is kind of great. 9 is whoa, it's amazing. 10 is a masterpiece.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
1 is worthless and pointless.
Yeah, like
And
the Black
actually
Hole
bad.
from 2006.
2 is like completely stupid and really worthless. 3 is like some stuff, but overall the whole film is stupid.
Yeah.
4 is like could have been something,
Yeah.
but it's not. 5 is like it's fine. Ant-Man. It's average.
Yeah, so Attack of the Clones.
No,
So
that's a 3.
5.
3.
It's pretty.
That's it.
I think it's pretty average.
That's it, guys.
Anyway, next week we're going to be talking about my least favorite of the films.
Really?
One of the yeah. I think I just like Revenge of the Sith more than Phantom.
Why?
I really do.
Really? Okay, we'll get to it.
We'll get to it. Thank you so much for listening as we go through our road to the Rise of Skywalker. We'll see you next time.